the old YouTube. There we go. All right. Get this going. Wrong one. We used the right one. There we go. Been a minute. And you've been to Giza, though?
No, I've never been to Giza.
Oh, dear.
As you can see here, we achieved this in just a few days. I'm a scientist.
Randall here with us. What's up, Randall?
What's up? Well, it's the exact reverse of the vectoral summation of all terrestrial gravitational forces. you can almost hear the snorts of derision.
Money! Somebody's gonna send me money, oh boy! Shit, oh no!
What's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Welcome back. Kaylee, Martin Crew, Eric, Viceroy, Nay, Russ, what's up, man? Phil, Kate, Rodrigo, Viceroy, Chinko, Paul, Big Action Jackson, USLD, Almay, and God, I can never read that, Mr. Roker. How's it going, everyone? Good to see y'all. Been recouping a little bit from the trip. We got back, late Sunday night, I think, early Monday morning, after midnight either way. A couple of days of waking up at 3 a.m. I was up at 3 again today. I don't know why, but it's still happening. Yes, very, very good trip. I trust some of you may have seen the live streams. Snake Bros did them too. I think they're on their channel if you want to check out more of them. There's, I think those guys, Kyle and Russ, streamed a little more than I did. But it was just a great trip. For those of you who don't know, we were in Egypt the last couple of weeks on a long-planned kind of tour. It worked out really well. We hit everything we were going to hit. Got to do the cruise this time around. Phil, cheers, man. Thanks. Having a glass of wine and stumbling on Uncharted's live stream. How lucky you are. Yes, wow. Yeah, and so Snake, Russ is saying it was amazing. It was Kyle and Russ's first chance in Egypt, as it was for many people on the trip. I've grown to enjoy really showing people some of this stuff for the first time. It's a good time, and I don't know, the trip really went off well. We had a number of special permissions. I pulled a Swifty. I probably told a few of you guys that I was planning a surprise for everyone on this trip. Yusuf and I had plotted on something that we were going to do if we'd hit like 42 guests. We didn't end up there. I think we had like 33. And we could have basically paid for it with 42, but then Yusuf and I decided, hey, we'll pay for it anyway because I really wanted to do it. And it was an extra special permission, one that wasn't on the itinerary, and it was we did it at Saqqara, and it was a chance to go down below the step pyramid. So we got down to, some of you might remember from the trip last year, you can kind of go into the step pyramid now into what's called the Persian tunnel, just below ground level, and you look down, you're at the top of like this 90-foot shaft that goes down, and you can look on the top, this huge multi-piece granite box. It's made up of like 32 pieces, all weighing several tons each. Big box in a big chamber, and then there's passages that go off all over it. So this special permission, we actually got down to the bottom of that, and then down into all the levels that are below the step pyramid. There's something like 6 kilometers of tunnels down there. And we got right down to like the 5th level or something. The last level, you got to go down like a 40-foot ladder. And I didn't want anyone filming down there. Then there was just, it was amazing. It's a place I've always wanted to get to. Just thousands of shards of the vases. So that's the place they found, 40,000 plus of those stone vases, many of which are in the museums and in warehouses everywhere all around the world, really. But there's just shards of them everywhere, like chunks, some big chunks. And we'll look at footage and we'll get into it a little bit. Saw me in Brian's new vid. I haven't seen it. Was Brian, must have been from the August trip. The trip over to Peru or something like that. First time chat from viewer. I wasn't say that. Paganus. A 6th level labyrinth, yes. And at least had the strange feeling to be back on stream tonight. Would like to see this, which satisfying. All cheers. Good to see you guys too. I haven't seen Brian's new video. It must be one in Peru from that trip there. All right, let's get cracking. So we kind of got to have chat up here at the top here. Be all right. I think we got both you guys, the YouTubes and the Twitches. I need to... Geez, it's been a while, so bear with me here. I need to fire up OBS on this side. No, I don't want to upgrade anything right now. Thank you very much. Not good with heights, so you didn't go down there. Dragonese, did you not go down below the step pyramid? Oh, you didn't go down the ladder. You must have gone down to the top of the ladder, but yeah, fair enough. Yes. What's this comment? Community reunited tonight or today. It's, what is it, Friday afternoon for me? About 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Right, not down the ladder. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm glad to be back. This should be a bit of fun. Let's, oh, if I can figure it out. Let me try and figure it out. Full screen projector. Elgato. Alright, here we go. Okay. Where are we? Egypt Osmo. Okay. Yeah, no, this is the right place. I got a lot of good pictures from people. Some really good pictures from the stream. From everyone. We had a Telegram group, so I love this. This was worked out really well. We set up a Telegram group. It was a good time too for a lot of people, as you can tell. That's a few beers. I want to show you the shard from this bowl. There it is. This is the sort of stuff you saw down at beneath the step pyramid. Tons of this sort of stuff. Now this is like all types of these different crystalline and very hard stones. And for me, it was a real privilege because it's the first time I got to handle any of them. So they're all behind glass, in the museums, and you see these beautiful smooth vases, and you just wonder. Oh, there's some big ones you can touch in the museum, but there's little delicate ones and all this other stuff that you see that are relatively thin, stuff like this, and you can't touch them. But down here you can find contoured pieces, like this piece, for example. It's hard to see, but it actually has a centering mark. Like it literally has a depression and a centering mark here. So it was quite literally turned. I mean, it's just the first chance that I had to really touch these things and kind of get my hands on them. There's and there was just no end to these. There's piles and piles and piles of this stuff. It's a good group. I like this photo. Sort of sums up our group. It's like a celebrity paparazzi line, but it's like there's no people. It's like a fucking stone box. Everyone's like, the fucking stone box. And yeah, this was at Lahoon. This is the granite box in the granite room. But this is a hilarious picture though. Everyone's like, oh, everyone get out. Everyone's like, clear out. We'll get the picture of the box on its own. So it's like a paparazzi bloody line. It's pretty funny. Kate, those vases and bowls are amazing. They really are. This shot is amazing, hilarious. Yeah, isn't it? I got video of this. We'll get into some video. I haven't watched much of the video, so I've watched a few little pieces because I've kind of been working on a video. I like this. Someone took this shot of me. These three dudes like, what the fuck is he doing? So I got a lot of good LiDAR scans too, although I haven't. Okay, I need to pull those off the iPad, but I haven't done it yet. Got some excellent results with LiDAR. So if you followed me on Twitter and Instagram, I posted a bunch of them, I think. So if you were following along, I think I posted a few little videos of some of the results that I got. So I got some very good results from the quarry, which was a particular objective. So we'll be able to measure kind of the scoop marks and get some real dynamics on that stuff. Really good results on things like the Hotep at Abu Ghraib. Just some real nice single piece results like the big foot, stuff like that. What I found didn't work so well was the boxes, and in particular the shiny boxes. And I kind of worked out why eventually. Is that it's a laser, right? So it's you need to have that, like, it needs to hit a surface and sort of diffract and get a return back to the sensor so we can make that distance measurement. But I think if some of these surfaces are like mirrors, which some of that granite stuff is, you just, it's bouncing off. It's not really diffracting and getting a return. So you get all these ghost returns, and you kind of have to be straight on to get a decent thing. And so I think I got enough to measure like some internal dimensions on the boxes, which is something that a lot of people have been after for a while. So I think I got like 2 or 3, maybe 4 of the boxes scanned well enough where I think we can make some relatively accurate measurements of the internal dimensions, the inside cuts. because we know they're different on the outside, but it really feels a lot like the internal shapes and sizes are very similar. So I think we can probably do that, but it just didn't. The rendering didn't work out really well because they were too shiny for the laser. It's really funny. LiDAR mirroring will be a LiDAR of you LiDARing the mirroring. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The boxes have some special properties. I think they're just reflecting lights. It's more of a pain in the ass than anything else. But, I mean, it's an intense finish, that's for sure. Greetings from Germany and Albuquerque. Hello, guys. Good to see you. You had the balls to jump the barrier in Peru and Egypt. You were all gift shop friendly? What do you mean? Oh, a service technician? No, we got, I mean, the truth is we got chased out of the pyramid in the end there. We got chased out of the Great Pyramid right at the end of our 2 hours, which was kind of funny. I have a video of it, actually. Kyle was in there and pretty excited to be in there, and we had one douchebag. Same thing in Egypt, same thing in Peru, though. It's like, people that are given a stick, there's a certain type of person that wants to wield that stick, They're like, oh, I've got this stick, I'm going to use it. Like, it doesn't. And this guy was like total, like 4'10" kind of short guy that was like, I've got a bit of power, I'm going to use it. And he was harassing people from the get go, like, don't touch the walls, don't touch the floor. Like, oh, fucking what? And then it didn't. Don't use your lights, don't take any photos inside the Great Pyramid. And it's like, And anyway, but I'll show you. We'll get to that video in due time. But pretty funny. Did you get the LiDAR image from the granite head they said don't touch in the live stream? Oh God, which one was that? Oh yeah. Okay, that was at Luxor Temple, and that was, I think, one of the head jets. Yes, I did. And then he went away and we touched it. So, and then so I did get video from down in the super secret subterranean bottom levels of the step pyramid, but it's video that I'm gonna have to sit on for a little while because just it's a little fresh to get it out. And the last thing I want is to get Yusuf or anyone associated with in Egypt in trouble for the actions of people on this tour. So you kind of spread a little difference. You can cause trouble, like if you go on these tours, like I think it happened on the tour before us. Like if you start climbing on stuff or taking the crazy photos where you're over the boundaries, just don't post them on bloody Facebook while you're there, because they will track down the tour and usually have a go at the operators of the tour whether or not they were actually able to stop people from doing stuff like that or not. So afterwards is generally okay with a lot of this stuff, but you just you should always be cognizant that the guides and the people that you're there with have to live there and have to have licenses to do work and stuff, and you don't really want to jeopardize that, and I certainly don't. But there's a time and a place to release stuff like that and editing and whatnot. Was there anything unusual down there? Yes, there was. So Wicked, cool. Hope to see you on the next one. Was there anything unusual down there? Paparazzi for a box. Sorry, I'm just looking at I'm trying to catch up on the chat. There was, in fact. So let's get some video started here. In the meantime, and I'll talk about what was down there. In fact, let's watch that. Why not? Let's watch the step pyramid. Oh, that is the little video that I'm not going to share with you right now. Osmo. Now, so we're gonna have to do some labeling here, chat. Like we're gonna have to work on what the hell. This is the Great Pyramid, I believe. Yeah, subterranean chamber. I've probably got the best. I got a really good scan of the subterranean chamber.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, we up a bit here. What was the other day? This is the 29th. That's probably the 27th. The one I think was Saqqara. Yeah. Okay. So, what was down here at the bottom level when you got right down there? There were boxes. There was crystalline alabaster or white quartzite, whatever you want to call it, travertine boxes. That I honestly don't think anyone's ever documented them. I'm not sure if anyone has, and it's from what I heard, it's like the Minister of Antiquity, the new guy wants to. He made him stop with the public access to level above that, and we got kind of some special treatment to go down and have a look down there. And he kind of keeps it for himself, apparently, to take people down there and go, ooh, look at this shit that nobody's seen. And I think this wind noise knocks off. They wouldn't. You can't really use a windsock. You can't use the dead cat because it's like the microphones get them excited in Egypt. I don't know why. They're like, oh, you need a permit. Fucking whatever. Yeah, alabaster boxes, but machined. So definitely machined. There's overcuts in some of them. They have tube drills, very sort of flat, sharp corners. A couple of them in these hallways, and they're still excavating down there. Like there's another level below that, but they're still excavating, and who knows if there's more levels below that. But yeah, it was impressive, and I'd always wanted to get down there, and just literally like a labyrinth of tunnels. Like you could keep going in there. Most of them are the ones you can walk through. They've kind of been excavated so you can walk through them. There's a lot more that are like have filled in with sand and rubble where you'd have to crawl through some of them. So if you're in those areas, you're probably off the beaten track, and you probably couldn't get lost with the tunnels you can walk through. There's still like a rough tunnel. It's definitely not like a Serapeum tunnel. Although I've heard tell of some larger chambers down there, and within if there's 6 kilometers of stuff, we saw maybe hardly any of it. We saw like 100 meters of stuff, like maybe a little more, but that's about it. How big? Not like Serapeum big. Like you'd struggle to get a person in them. Smaller boxes. Anyway, you've seen this. You guys have all seen the outside of the step pyramid, I think. Let's keep going. We were kind of gearing up for entry. We went in and Yusuf sort of showed him the access, and then I was like, I wanted to be kind of first in here because
he is the chief of inspectors of the step pyramid. And he will be our guide. He worked for years in the
15 years
excavation underneath this pyramid. So we have...
This guy worked 15 years down here. He's like the big boss. He was the one showing us around, so...
And he will show us every part of the pyramid.
So last trip we got down here and we got to this door and we were kind of looking down there with shining torches and stuff. And I can also show you footage of this from during the renovation, which might be a good thing to maybe share with the patrons or something, just to do a
1 minute.
patron thing. But
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
so yeah, this is the path in. And honestly, they've done a really good job renovating it. For obviously set up for this type of special permission access with these lights. They dug a channel, and then they've mudded it all back in. We'll see how many years these lights last.
Bruce Corrett subscribed to the channel.
Bruce, thanks for the sub, dude. Cheers. Yeah, it is, and it's just like it's hard to say how much is like modern repair. They definitely did a lot. This is probably all modern.
We know this pyramid, we have 5 levels. 5. We are now in the first level, okay?
Yes.
After he making, a shaft 28 meter deep to put his mummy down, he built the first step to cover his tomb. And after he finished, he make the stone from outside, what I tell you.
Yes.
After that, he changed his mind. He have his family.
They always change their
tombs
mind.
In east side of the pyramid.
I wonder this
he
in the
built
Queen's chamber. I
second
don't
one.
know.
Why
King's
was
chamber.
that the first one? Okay.
So the pyramid was enlarged.
So we can see from east. Now we are in the first level. Now we're beginning the second one from here. Okay? All this cut in the mother rock.
Solo Outlaw, what's up, man?
Be careful.
They've done a really nice job renovating it, I'll say that again. Because shit was rough. The footage I have from during the renovation down here, it's definitely dark and like scaffolding and crap everywhere. But it's bizarre that they haven't removed all of the stuff that's down here. But
You guys have done a wonderful job restoring it.
Yeah. These
Very
new
good.
steps.
Yeah.
Imagine before that it's like slobbing. No electric,
Yeah.
watch your head.
No, you don't.
And Mo's kids were with us on this day. Kate, Emma's
Now
looking
we're
at photos from the
beginning
19th
from
century
the
of Egypt
third
and
one.
online French library. The amount of
This
right.
is the third one, okay?
And there are tunnels that lead off to the left and right, and you can't really. They sort of keep you corralled, like that tunnel back there. Like, where's it go? We don't know. They kind of kept us all in the main area. Oh, this is all bedrock. Yeah, this is all tunneled in the bedrock. I think I bang it here somewhere. I know I banged the Osmo at some point.
This is the fourth one. We are now in the fourth. Fourth level. Yeah.
So these are the rooms. This is where you have the.
The sarcophagus.
This has the rooms with all the blue tiles. Like, so these rooms here were all full of these blue tiles. They're now in the Saqqara Museum. There's some tiles still remaining. It's all plastered with all this tiling.
After that, we'll go to the east side to see the sarcophagus. But all
And then this is where the giant big, he calls it sarcophagus. It's like the giant big multi-piece box. So there's some of these blue tiles still remaining. It's pretty cool. Like, again, even if you go with the Orthodox time frame for this, like, it's third dynasty. It's ancient.
Are we going this way? Oh, we can walk around. Yeah, whatever.
That's Sebastian. He was in Peru with us as well. So he's a cool dude. He's acoustic, like a professional. They had 2 or 3 people, like Kyle and Sebastian and God, I've forgotten his name. There was a few like audio engineers. So here's the shaft. Like, this is impressive when you kind of walk in here and you look up. I don't know. A lot of them had fallen down. I think they're probably all damaged. So you look up and you're like this. You're inside this massive shaft that's inside. And so this ledge up here is where we were last year. We could look down from up there. Anthony, thank you. Yes, Anthony. Where's this? This is Step Pyramid. Yep. This box had also fallen over, so they basically reassembled it. Called a burial chamber. 32 pieces. I got some good photos. The iPad drastically improved my photo taking ability with its wide angle. It has this like super wide angle lens that works really well for stuff like this. Kind of jammed in a corner and you can catch it all. Yeah, it's a big one. No, it's huge. Let me, while we're watching this, I'll try and dig up the other stuff from like when it was being renovated. When was that? A kid figured out that he could say infinite ways. There are infinite ways. And there's this like plug in here, like a circular piece that's, you can see it from the top.
We will be able to see some hieroglyphs carved. These hieroglyphs were made to mark the slabs of granite. It was probably marked outside so that they will put it together back and reinstall this giant sarcophagus that is made from 32 pieces.
Fixed starting point, like from an excavator. Well, it's actually there's a funny. We can get to that when we talk to it. But you know, Russ and Kyle made a really interesting observation about that. There's that some of the scoop marks kind of travel in these lines, and there's a point where the angle of the lines changes. So it's as if, say, you had a tool that was on an arm, and that arm was located in an area. It's like as if the arm was stretching out. It's like a backhoe, you know. Like if you dig right in front of the backhoe, you get those straight lines. But if you go to the side, you get lines on more of an angle. So it's almost like that was going on. in some of these areas in the quarry. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Didn't you do a video when all they had the scaffolding and everything up? So they pulled it out, right?
Yeah, that was during my renovation.
Right. Okay, I remember. Yeah, that you couldn't really tell how. Because you were sitting there going, "This is huge," and you couldn't really tell because all the scaffolding. Now it's huge.
All right. Yeah.
Down. And so that was last year. From that balcony up there, there's people up there. See?
Oh yeah.
They're probably wondering, how do we get down there?
There were people kind of looking down at us from up there. It was just pretty funny. Tiles? They're porcelain, I think.
What did he say about this?
This piece cracked.
It's like a locking pin.
Many of these pieces cracked.
An attaboy Kyle. Yeah. Yes.
I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist.
Holy shit.
Yes, indeed.
Ancient restoration, but not to the third
Yeah, that's the ground level where
but
that's
to the side pit. But I didn't see any results of
kilometers of tunnels.
radiocarbon.
As a kid was saying,
In case
careful,
these
it's
ones
infinite
were
waves.
stone, these
You saw the other tunnels going.
shut the moisture out of the wall instead of making the bedrock swollen and then will break this. So
Alright. Let's keep going.
actually good restoration.
I'm gone, guys.
Yeah.
Glad country.
We can see that there is a piece of wood over here and we can see a shutter. I personally sense that inheritors mean lots of tunnels that is not originally with the original structure, but many new tunnels will have them. But many also of them are there. So all this
I'm just looking for this other.
except from that side, which is, remember when we were descending on from the first level and we saw that there is a corridor to the left hand side? This is the one that leads to this, and this is the other opening in the bedrock that they brought those pieces from.
So they think this is all tomb robbers digging these things? Looking
6 kilometers of fucking tunnels?
That's what the one of the guides in there was telling Garrett. He's like, the tomb robbers, they get through the labyrinth by digging straight through the walls,
One of the things that would
past all the corridors.
radiocarbon dating is halite. There's some
Chemical plant theory?
Let's see.
The problem is you're just on a tourist visa trying to. Yeah, right. You cannot do it. Service technician. I'm not looking at chat right now. I'm trying to find this other video. Sorry, guys.
other period of
Just go. Hey,
some
CH
highlight
Partney,
areas,
Chris. How are you, man?
this is the new wood.
So this is like the the halite that comes out, the salt crystals. You can see it in the wall here.
Halite. Halite is a material that exactly.
Salt
Exactly.
crystals.
From the 26th dynasty,
Chunk of
restoration.
Oh, here it is.
Look at it in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I just want to tell you that what's remaining here from halite is nothing, almost, because the original.
Okay, so here I'll share a bit of this. So this is pre-rest. This is during the restoration. So this is that same entrance tunnel we walked through. Same thing, like just with wooden boards on it now, and the lighting's not there, and they've got this ventilation in there, so you had the odd light. Yeah, a little different, right? Trash and shit everywhere, the usual. The usual. Let me, yeah, so much darker, right? Like this is what it was like everywhere. Good to see me back in the cave, yeah. Much older, more like 400,000 years. You never know. Yeah, it could be. I certainly think a lot of it's a lot older than what we've got labeled on it right now. So I think this might have been another passageway that we didn't actually go down. This is another direction. I'm going to compare these two bits of footage here and there. I just want to be careful because I don't want to show the people that are actually in this film. Because, you know, don't need people getting in any trouble. But it is during restoration, this footage. Here, let me find... Yeah, I'll leave this going for now.
Was this long?
I want to show you, like, the box area.
Wow. Yes, it was this long. I've seen it with my own eyes. There is
Yeah, this is a bit more.
Exactly. It is the salt with the moisture that
There's
is seeping
big
through
chunks of it.
the bedrock.
There's big chunks of it here.
It grows like the ones in caves, but it could be thousands, it could be tens of thousands, we cannot be sure. Why? Because it all depends on the intensity
Oh yeah.
of the bedrock itself.
Like all here, Yusuf, there's some big chunks of here still.
Yeah, I'm sure we look, all this is it, but it's covered with dust. This is all
What is
halite.
this? 58.
Huh? These are broken now. They were, you see what I'm talking about? So this natural formation, without a doubt, formed in the pyramid after it was dug. So the age of cutting this tunnel is older than the age of the halite, which you can see.
Snake Bros
drawn here
Discord.
like this.
Yeah, we'll go through some of the pics.
Very long. We can see here remnants of pieces from granite and from calcite. Huge chunks.
Where is
of
it?
And from limestone that was also used encasing the inner corridors. Warren,
Look at that.
look at that.
Pieces of bowls, right?
No, that's a souvenir. That's like Mark got that souvenir.
Nice one.
Copper chisels can do amazing things.
That's right.
Copper chisels can do amazing things. So here's a bit of other footage. This is actually the box room. Behind the scaffolding's the box. So this is during the renovation. All right, you got the ladders. So this is the box beneath this, and they had scaffolding all the way up this passageway up the top there, and you can kind of see the granite of the box behind here. But I have footage of all through this stuff. Yeah, well, you wait for it, man. Like that's just one of them. There's literally thousands of these shards down here. This is one of the most amazing parts of it. It was that you just have these. I mean, it's kind of mind blowing in how ancient it truly is. This stuff. You know, even if it's third dynasty, it's still like 5,000-6,000 years old. And I think that could be far older than that. I was like, look at this. This is a piece. Look at this. Look at this piece.
Yes.
Like just beautiful. Like thin.
مين؟
Big chunks of the large
احنا يا
ones.
باشا معاك عايزين نشوف كل الأجزاء.
Yeah, this is that one's got like the handle on it. It's actually got a hole in it.
كده
See
كده
that?
في ناس كبيرة مش هتعرف تنزل المستوى اللي بلمع عليك فيه.
So you can see there's like a bowl part
طيب
here.
ماشي. ماشي يا سعادة الرئيس. So we can look here at part of the shattered pieces from the 40,000 yards.
Yeah, they had more than 40,000.
Okay.
Highlight crystal.
Holy hell, all these are full of them.
I thought it was a shell, but no, it's the crystal.
Well, wait, so you can actually see the curve from the bottom of this one. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Yusuf. Oh man, look at that. Beautiful.
Only for looking.
Yes.
Oh.
Look at the
Here is exactly the part that we were talking about earlier, and I'm sure we can see many examples. I want to look, please, for something.
Yeah. Down under the step pyramid here. This is underneath the step pyramid.
Yeah. Guys, this is a good example here when we talk about machining, because what I was trying to explain for you, you can see here. Here is the center, here is the part of the tubular drill, here is the jar. What I was talking about is this.
Can they date it? No, not really.
How you call it?
Well, the crystals they might be able to date at the walls.
I want you to know that this is done
But
on
it's
purpose. I have
it's
seen
depending on
tens of
location, like
examples
and moisture level.
that shows that
Like
this
some
was
places
done
crystals
again and
grow
again and
very
with a
slowly, and some
sequence.
places pieces grow
So this
more
is
quickly.
the right nice.
So.
Imagine if you hold this with manual tool, no way. No way you can control the stone this much. So it's good to see this example
Yeah, Russ.
because it shows exactly the capability of the manufacturer. And it is the same one that we see in the pyramids. Some of the thin ones.
Obsidian? There is some
And it's
obsidian.
the same thing, but in a
I actually have a
this
piece of obsidian here.
angle. So this is a bit thicker. And then it also what was the word again?
From Kilimanjaro. I don't know if you can see it. It's like I picked up a bunch of it at Kilimanjaro in Africa. The volcanic glass.
Wow, it's a big piece of brush.
Big piece of brush here.
Okay, surrender the piece. And here it is again, in another piece.
Yeah,
So
right.
when you see
So some of them they
good
found have these
amount of
little
evidence,
like scratch
you
names
have
on
the
them.
confidence that what we are talking about is not imaginary. We're looking at the piece itself. Okay.
Yep. Well, the
Make a
fine
space
stone
for
vases
others.
only really
Those
here
who
below
have
the
seen
step
it
pyramid, and only if you can get. I
with
mean,
others. See it?
it's a special permission. You know, it costs thousands of dollars to get down here. So
Look at this
You can't go this way. Okay. Yeah. So like, let's.
paper.
Let me get out.
Here is the center one.
Let me get past you, man.
This one was a huge drill because this is the circle here, and we can see how also it's tapered on the side here.
Can I get past
Same like what we can see in here.
Maybe so we
Yeah,
should
jump over.
try and go. Jump over.
Yeah. Yeah, try and make it form a kind of a...
Don't ask me where does this. Oh my goodness, there's a whole pile of them over there. You see?
Yeah.
Delicious.
I really want a little piece.
No, it's impossible.
I know.
I wouldn't give you. I will give you from the one we have.
yeah, that's it. Spray my name on the building, and it's mine. So I have to show you this. If you go to, I think I probably have some footage of it somewhere. I think definitely I took pictures of it the last trip around. Let's go to the iPad. I'll show you some examples. As we're at the Saqqara Museum. Where are we? Good God. Good Lord. Good Lord. I don't know how many pictures I took in the Saqqara Museum. I took them all the last time, you know. But I'll show you the examples of why they think that you know they associate kind of the names with this stuff. Here we go. Did I take any pictures of the good stuff? Maybe I think I was mostly focusing on the second industry of vases. It's a complicated story. I try to explain it in one of the videos about the vases, but you kind of have a lot of this stuff that's found in pre-dynastic, and these precise stone vases were all found in the early period, and pre-dynastic right up until about the Third Dynasty, when they started to reproduce some of them. Then there's a scene on the wall, this famous scene on the wall, like this thing here, right? So, see, they've got like the weighted spinny turny thing. You know, they're using their hand, so they're using these kind of spinning weights with like a flint chisel, but they're making stuff like this. They're making these things, these alabaster pieces. That's what they're making with that, and you can kind of see that it's wonky. They're not quite the same. They're not symmetrical. It's alabaster. It's much softer than sort of the hard diorite, schist, corundum vases. It doesn't have the same degree of precision. And this was Imhotep's work. So the way that the modern Egyptology, they basically look at this scene and they go, this is how they made everything. This is how they made all the stone vases. And by the way, this only started happening in the Third Dynasty. So it was Imhotep who was credited with coming up with this system. But I think what was... and at the same time, you have these goddamn stone vases, not just in the Third Dynasty, but in the Second, in the First, in pre-dynastic times. Right back to... The earliest example I know of was some stone vessels they found in a almost Neolithic or Paleolithic burial it's like carbon dated to about 12,000 years old. There's photographs of this excavation in the Nubian Museum. It's now in an area that got sunk. It was discovered in the 50s and 60s. These like old sort of pre-dynastic Stone Age almost a burial, but it had these precision stone vases with them, and it had organic material that they dated back to 12,000 years. So you have these precision stone vases going back that far. And then in the Third Dynasty, they start reproducing them out of alabaster using these primitive methods, and of course they somehow use this to try and explain all of the stuff, but it's clearly they were just producing these things. So they got good at it. It's like everything else, but they never really got to the point of making the stone vases. They were making them out of this softer material, and you can kind of, so it's weird. They just don't address the fact that they really only seem to have developed that capability with Imhotep in the Third Dynasty. Yet these vases go back much earlier. I mean, the schist disc itself, that famous, overlapped schist disc, came out of a First Dynasty tomb. And you can't tell me that, that required some pretty impressive work. What if you paid $1 million? Would they still restrict? I'm sure $1 million would get you a long way. I'm sure you could do... look, there's a price for everything in Egypt. You can climb the pyramid if you want to. It just costs you a fortune. You have to pay everybody off now. And you can get permit. Like, you can fly a drone around. You just need to get the permits and go through the motions. Things like digging and excavations, though, it's not even... I mean, money's probably the primary factor, but you have to also have... And money will get you... Money would also get you the connections, like the academic credentials to go and work with, say, an archaeological department at a university, if you have enough money to go do stuff. And so that's the way it works. You have to have these long-term partnerships with the Council of Antiquities. And... but if you had enough money, you could make that happen. I'm sure the universities would take your money. Then they'd take their money, your money, and they'd use you guys and their people to go and do the digs that you wanted to do. And you could probably make stuff happen with enough money in Egypt, I think. I don't think anyone cares enough. That's, we don't have any of the billionaires out there that are interested in this sort of stuff enough to actually want to go and really get into it. Like, spend $50,000 pumping out the Assyrian for a while and really map that thing out. I don't know. Money, and connections. Some baksheesh, some hashish. There's plenty of that. The stone bracelet at Adrian, you're talking about it's the Denisovan bracelet. It's like 40,000 years old. It's like a jade bracelet with a drill hole in it. Then it's supposedly made by Denisovans. And so this here is like what a lot of the tiling. This is in the museum. So this is what the rooms beneath the step pyramid in those little antechambers would have looked like. This sort of stuff here. Still very pretty. And I still didn't show you what I was showing you. So here's another example of like these alabaster vases, right? So this is clearly not the same thing as the precision stone vases. Let me find that though real quick. Saqqara, here we go. Sony camera. I didn't actually take a Sony camera on this one. So yeah, this thing came out of a First Dynasty tomb, right? And it's made of schist. It's remarkable. That's the schist disc. It's been repaired. But let me find... How is this the only pictures I have? It must be phone pictures. This is Is this backwards or something? Here we go. All right. So this is like the stuff they found in beneath the step pyramid. Really perfect, but honestly, even though you've got some writing on it, it's still like chicken scratch kind of writing. But that's nonetheless the writing that they typically use to credit with it. And here's some of the tools, right, that they found, the bronze chisels and stuff. And these are some of the vases, the single pieces that they found beneath. Again, there's 40,000 plus of these things. And you can clearly tell they're of a different level to the alabaster work, right? That's what's going on there. But you have, and I think in my video on this that I've got a lot more examples of the diagrams, and you can find the old pictures. In fact, I've probably got it here. I'll show you guys. Where is it? 2021 edits. What was it called? Step pyramid? I think it was step pyramid, huh? Step pyramid. Yeah, Jean-Paul Loyer. So here you go. Yeah, this is all the scans from it. So this is all these are the older pictures of. So this guy was responsible for a lot of the work. Jean-Paul Loyer, I think. Jean-Philippe Loyer did a lot of the work excavating here and finding all this stuff. So and he's detailing the vases and things here, right? The alabaster work, and then this is the piece that you actually see in the museum that's reconstructed out of very fine translucent alabaster. So here's a list, like a look at a lot of the tunnels. So you can see it's kind of labyrinthian in nature beneath the step pyramid. This is the shaft, right? And then you've got all the layers below it, even though he didn't fully map all that stuff out. And this is kind of what it looked like, right? So over here, this is you guys can't see it all, but you know, smashed up remains of just tens of thousands of these things. Look at it; they're just all shattered. Just amazing. And then so some of these pieces you can actually recognize. I actually recognize some of them from the museum because most of them were broken. There wasn't a ton that they found that were in single pieces, but like holy shit, this is what it looked like when he discovered it. Just piles and piles and piles of these things. Crazy. You got to kind of wonder, like, how did they end up down here? Like, were they buried with a king? Was this all inherited? Because there must have been so many of these. If this is the location where they found them, just this many of them, and they were digging these up out of everywhere. Like this is the collection. You can see a lot of them here. Yeah, there you go. So that's a lot of the stuff that's in the museum right now. A lot of it's in these are the alabaster works. I love these pictures. Like just these, these warehouses still exist, right? Like there's still these warehouses full of this shit that no one's ever seen. Like no one from the public gets to see. Like thousands of these things are stuck in warehouses and shops. And but what I wanted to show you was this sort of stuff. Like you see the writing. Like this is the part that kills me. It's this chicken scratch bullshit that's on these things, or painted on them, or sort of scratched into them with flint or whatever. Where is it? There must be pictures of it here. Yeah. Here we go. Right. So this sort of stuff is how they justify the names, and it's nonsense. It's exactly the same thing as we see on the larger objects. It's this chicken scratch bullshit that gets etched into these precision objects, but then somehow that's used as justification for who made them and how. I mean, who would do this to these things? Like you're basically defacing these objects by writing, this I was here, or this is mine. Just example after example after example. And yeah, that's as I said in a couple of the videos, this is how the house of cards that is history is assembled. So this piece we see in the museum, this one on the right, this is the one I showed you the picture of. But when Loyer found it. So anyway, let's continue with the video. Try and catch up on some chat here.
And on the left hand side you have broken pieces of the jar. You see how it...
Taking a geologist next year, yeah, we are. Let's go next. Maybe I'll be nice. How many people we got here? 31 and 50. Oh, holy crap. Okay, guys. Got more on the YouTube's winning by the look of it. I'm going to... it just went from 50 to 36. Hilarious. I think we'll... I'll show you some of this super secret footage. Of what else is down here. Do you know what dates you're going next year? In November. Yeah, Russ is in there answering everything in the chat. How do I make you a mod? I'm going to do /mod.
And here's a bar. Here's the entrance. Like that. Inside and all that is a bar.
I think I gave you the privileges there, Russ.
We don't know anything about this.
Was that piece
Yes.
Here you can see
He
the
shall
pillars.
wield it. Yes, that's right.
Some
I've given him power.
pieces
Don't
of
annoy Ross.
Alabaster this way.
I've seen him wield stuff. He will do
You
it.
can see it's complete.
Is this ancient wood?
Yeah.
Ancient
It's
wood.
Probably from Lebanon, right?
From Lebanon, cedar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
Which
step
it covers
pyramid
the
up above
ceiling.
has the
Pyramid. In 26th dynasty, some people come later.
Actually,
to
you
make
have,
restoration to the pyramid.
there's
And
drill
you see
holes in
that
some of this.
2000, it's like
So this sort of stuff too, like this is again alabaster, and so they pulled up. You guys might have heard me say this story too. It's from Yusuf, but they pulled up like 60, 70 tons of this stuff from down here, and basically bulldozed it and buried it behind the step pyramid. And last year we found, I found all sorts of images. Let me find it. Phone. Last year we found a few chunks of it, like this stuff here. Like this was up the top here, like, you know, perfect tube drills, machine surfaces, that sort of stuff. But then it's all gone. Like it's just this field here, they pulled up literally like 70, 80 tons of this, 60, 70 tons of it, and bulldozed it and buried it all. And they just is all machined and cut big blocks of this stuff. God only knows why. Like why they yanked all this up from beneath the step pyramid and basically buried it, mixed it with all the limestone rubble that they were making for, like they were making limestone bricks and stuff for modern repair work. They mixed it all together and just smashed it and flattened it all with a bulldozer and buried it behind the step pyramid. We don't know why. Yeah, you can see remnants of the edge of the bulldozed area, right? We're standing on it over here, I think. Like there's literally like a big ledge behind us here that it just dips down. So this whole big area is all much higher than it once was. I know I've got video of it, but we'll go back to it. But tons of this stuff. So you just got to imagine they've removed like 70 tons of this stuff from down here.
1,200 pieces.
Can you take the broken pieces? No,
Come
you
in
can't.
2,000 later, after the pyramids, they would like to make restoration to the ceiling.
No,
So make some
yeah, I
ceiling
wouldn't
wall
recommend it
to
either.
support the ceiling. But the earthquake hit most of this ceiling.
Although it'd be nice to have some, wouldn't it? So this is funny. This is I love looking at these things. These are the mud stoppers for the canopic jars. So I've made this point a few times before, but again, you have these precision stone jars, or a lot of cases they were the alabaster ones that they make, but they didn't make lids. So you kind of have these rudimentary sort of mud clay stoppers on top of them. That's what this thing is.
Yeah, thank you. No, I haven't seen it. But, oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. It's a warehouse, storerooms, and got in to keep it good.
There's a piece with a tube drill in it.
Museum, some part in. Yeah, you ask about what inside. We found some, honey, vegetable, some onion. But
Why these bizarre things are down there, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me to fit. It seems consistent with the idea of a burial. I'm sure that it was, and I mean, look, those tiled rooms, and I'm sure it was done in honor of a king. I think there's a good chance a lot of these subterranean structures and the things like the granite chamber, the box, may have been down there beforehand, and they may have then built. The Third Dynasty guys might have. I think they built the step pyramid on top of it, and then used it in reference to a king. Look at this big, huge chunk of this piece here, like just machined flat surface of what was a giant bowl, probably. Look at this with the lip on it. Yeah, there's the center circle of the. It's like a big plate. Look at it. It's crazy. And yeah, I don't necessarily think they built it all that way, and I think that they probably had a lot of these artifacts with them. Like I think they were inherited and kept, and then they probably got buried or put down there for the king to use in the afterlife or whatever, and that's where they found them. But I don't think that means that they made them that way. This piece was remarkable. This was both sides of it, getting to handle the stuff. Like I said, the first time I got to handle these types of materials, they're all stuck behind glass in the museum, so that was a real privilege to be able to actually handle this stuff for the first time.
Crazy, the crystalline structure of this rock, how brittle that is, and then to finish it like this.
It's got this definite centering mark in it on that one.
Salt, it's okay for the salt. The part, okay. You can take the part, it's no problem.
Serious bit of alabaster there as well.
Some people do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, just feel this. This surface here.
Beautiful.
Just chunks of it everywhere. Like there's a huge pile of it all back there. Like literally a big pile of all this stuff.
Yeah, that's the lay centering mark, right? You can feel it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What a fortune that we get to see.
Yeah. Holy crap, you kidding me?
Could have been a Greek wedding down there. Look at this piece I was grabbing. This is like a huge big chunk of like big bowl fragment of like a fat granite one, and we were messing with this for a while trying to tip it over. But it's originally like it must have been a big ass granite bowl. Like you can see the handles on the side of it.
It's all beat up, so hard to say.
It's heavy too. Wow. That's the outside.
Unfinished, but it's a beast.
The big hard. It's easy to see the base of it.
Feels like it's something like that, yeah.
I haven't seen any of this footage, so I can hear it. Jesus. It's a bowl. It's like it's the bottom of a big friggin' like thick granite bowl. And so yeah, a lot of the tunnels are like this, where you haven't, you'd have to kneel or crawl. I didn't bring knee pads because that would have helped. You could have probably crawled around a fair bit. But yeah, or really crouch walk in.
Take that if you want. That's halite.
Really?
Salt crystal. Yep.
Yeah, they don't care if you take the halite. That shit's everywhere.
People taking the stone. See anything fun there?
I'm not really going to frog walk up there, but there's probably piles of it still.
Yeah, there's piles of this stuff everywhere. So.
Yeah.
So for me, this was like a massive highlight on this trip. I had not been down here.
That thing, man. Huge chunk of it. Yeah, I tipped it over before.
It's heavy.
Yeah. See the base on it too.
I'll show you the thing. I kind of want to do a video on this.
Yeah. They found 40,000 of them. So.
I've kind of done the bowls a little bit, but there's another one I want to do first. There's Kyle discovering it. They did a great job. Yeah, I mean, I told the guy a couple times. I said, "You guys have done a wonderful job making this."
See the big pieces of the vases over there?
Yeah. Who finished? Wait, need some coffee.
There was another thing that Yusuf showed me that I thought was.
I saw some overcuts in some of the other ones. Like they're actually cutting into that with the.
Why carve a name in them and bury 4,000 pieces of pole on a pyramid? Well, that's what kings do, right? You should see the treasure hoards that kings accumulate, and then that's an ego thing, right? It becomes theirs. Like like they dedicate it to themselves. Like that's.
There is a drill hole like that. But what is kind of cool, if you can light it, you will see that in the middle, you see a black.
Who can understand the behavior of kings?
There is another hole coming in.
Yeah.
It's right up there at the end.
You mean this?
Yes, and if you can light it up hard, at the bottom there is a.
It's my buddy Fred.
There is you can see it's drilled.
Fred on the right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. So it's. And it's
I've worked with Fred at HB, and we were talking about getting him to Egypt for a long time. So he brought his wife as well. It was fantastic, actually. He kind of wasn't interested in this at all until I started talking to him. We have lunch every month or so, and I kind of dragged him down the rabbit hole with me, and he's fascinated by it now. Whoops. Okay, let's not speed that up too much.
Yeah.
So more pieces.
Got one piece there.
Let's see.
It's amazing.
Yes, the French couple from California. Yep, Fred and Agnes. Yeah, so I've known Fred for years. See, it's translucent, like the alabaster's translucent. Yeah, the light shines through it. This is the piece that I really enjoy. Like this, God, yeah, that'd be something else. I'm sure the guy just throws it on the ground afterwards, but like this to me would be
with the cracks already in it.
Invaluable kind of thing to have. Can you imagine how old this is? But getting to handle it was the coolest part. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I felt like it was a real privilege to get down there and touch the stuff.
That's something else. It's translucent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buried with treasure, maybe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Exactly.
I
You
can,
want to take it with
give
you.
you a bunch of pieces in wood that have exactly that. It's the mark.
I think we're on the way out. Yeah, way out. Borderline glass. It's definitely translucent. You know what you need after a trip into the pyramid? You need a scarf, my friend. You need to stop worrying about what you're doing there and get a scarf. I already have a scarf, jackass. Yeah, it needed the dead cat. Well, no, I don't think so. I think they gave him plenty. I think we don't have a good concept of just the sheer abundance of treasure that I think a lot of these Egyptian kings had. You know, you got to consider Tutankhamun, who was a very young and relatively insignificant ruler, died early, has a tiny tomb, but they've pulled like 100,000 pieces out of his tomb, and priceless treasure. You know, 100 kilograms of gold, like I think 120, whatever it was, 100 plus kilograms went into one of his boxes, and there's 20 kilograms in his mask, and that's like, imagine one of the guys that ruled for 40 years, and the sort of shit they might have accumulated. We don't have a good concept of it. Today it's in money and, you know, property and real estate and shit, but I think they had some real material treasure, the likes of which we probably can't understand. And now it's governments take that stuff, but, you know, you got to imagine the combined wealth of what's in museums and stuff now, and consider the government essentially being the king, like in a monarchy where it's absolute rule, or it's something like Egypt, like that's all their shit, you know. It's not the government's or the people's, it's theirs. So they get to take whatever they want. And if your religious practices basically mean that you get to, whatever you take with you goes with you into the afterlife and you have it forever, then they're going to take all that shit if they want to. I mean, that was the practice, right? You buried with all your stuff because you would then have that in the afterlife with you. And they plundered each other a lot, right? I'm sure that there was lots of cases where you bury it and then a year or two goes by and those same guys that built that tomb are going in there to then plunder it and get it all out.
You're fine. You got to decide which way to go once you get up.
This is the Great Pyramid. All right. Well, let me show you it. Why not? Don't tell anyone, chat. But I'll show you what's on the bottom level. Okay, it's a little video of me. So this is the extra bottom level. You go down like a 40-foot ladder. So from where we were, there's a hole in the ground. You go down about an extra 40 feet or so. It's quite deep down. And then there's these. It's not the best footage, but these are these big precision cut kind of alabaster boxes. There's a couple of them in these tunnels. And I don't think anyone's documented these. And they're broken in pieces. The light definitely shines through them. There's tube drills here. They're precision cut, and the one that's behind us over here has overcuts in it, sort of saw cuts in it. Yeah, this is still this is the bottom level. This is where they didn't want us filming down here for whatever reason. But these are the boxes that are down here and at the bottom level so far. Like this is the 5th level down. And they're excavating the 6th now, apparently. And we only saw a fraction of what's down here, by the way. But this is pretty cool. And then in the corner here, you've got these. It's tough to see, but there are overcuts. This is like an overcut into the edge of it here. Saw cuts, and they're just very flat, sharp inside corners, alabaster boxes. They were resonant, had a frequency. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Underneath the step pyramid.
Yeah, there you go. Got a little bit of footage from down there, so it's nice. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really documented it. Let's see. I got to go to this here. Phone. Where is it? I think this is it here. If we open this with this guy. Yeah. Okay, so this is
And of course.
So I'll show you something else. So this is kind of what I'm planning on making a video about now. Definitely something technical, definitely not what we're told. YouTube Erzit code. It's a German video. Okay. Piece of plastic for a lying alien. Yeah, so this is another thing. This is like at Giza. This is in a couple days before the tour started. This is what I'm planning on I'm working on a video for right now, which is so I have to set this up. So if you've followed the work before, one of the big problems with the story of history and the way we put it together is how we date and relate everything, right? It's all done with the writings and all that. So we look at the writings and we do stuff. But one of the big problems with that stuff is also the recycling that goes on. So we know that in the Middle Kingdom, for example, Ramses II and Meren Ptah, his son, notorious for taking older stuff and writing their name on it and reusing it. And there's probably the best example that I know of is everything around the Middle Pyramid. So the Khafra Pyramid, those two bottom casing layers of granite, they were used as a quarry. And there's even an inscription on the walls of basically the enclosure that they cut for the Middle Pyramid that says, this is the quarry master for Ramses II, and he wasn't quarrying the limestone, he was quarrying the granite from the pyramid, and they took that granite and reused it in other structures. And even the dream stele that sits between the paws of the Sphinx, this big granite stele, tells the story of Thutmose IV, how he found the Sphinx buried in the he fell asleep in its shade, and it said, if you uncover me, you'll become king, blah, 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 blah. That piece is a repurposed piece of granite from an earlier period, right? So what seems clear from all of this is that, okay, the Old Kingdom, they were capable of doing all this granite stuff, and then the later periods in Middle Kingdom, and these guys didn't want to quarry and make the stone themselves, so they took from the earlier period, and because apparently all this granite work was done in the Old Kingdom, in the mainstream story. But what Yusuf has found here, and what he showed with me, is that we have now evidence of this stone recycling happening in the 4th dynasty, so in the Old Kingdom. So this practice was already occurring in the Old Kingdom, which makes it really hard to say then that the Old Kingdom made all this stuff. Like, it seems to me that a lot of this stuff is likely much older, and even, a lot of the Old Kingdom guys wrote their name on it as much as the later period sort of did as well. But we have some very, very strong evidence here for actual recycling and repurposing of some of these big precision cut pieces of stone in the Old Kingdom, and that's what he's talking about here. So I kind of want to do a better job of telling that bloody story in a video, like I'm writing it down. But it's a subtle point, but it's like the mainstream version of history, it kind of is acknowledged that that recycling happened, but they kind of like really only attribute it to the Middle Kingdom, so that, a couple thousand years after, or 1,500 years after the Old Kingdom, all right, now we're reusing stone. But now if we have actual evidence for this recycling and repurposing of stone happening in the Old Kingdom, it throws the idea that it was the Old Kingdom that built all this stuff kind of out the window. So sort of, well, where did this come from, and who did it, and why were they recycling it already in the Old Kingdom? Like, it's the same reason why there's another stele that's associated with the Sphinx called the Inventory Stele, and it talks about how Khafre repaired the Sphinx rather than built it, and they just throw that out as like, this is bullshit, it was made up. He obviously built it because no one was around before that Old Kingdom period, so Khafre must have built it. And it's like, well, okay, what if it's ancient and he repaired it as this stele says? Then it's like, well, now we've got to explain the earlier period. But we have this exact example, and I'd not seen this. I think this is very, very important evidence on this site. It's in this. I'll let Yusuf tell the story here, but I think this is actually pretty significant, and it's going to be very difficult for the mainstream to explain this. We didn't go down into the Sphinx enclosure on this trip, no.
You and I promised the people on the last podcast that we're going to be doing some of these things.
You guys can hear this, I take it?
Side. And this is the tomb of the priest Ra'wer. Ra'wer was a priest that served during the time of Shepsiskaf. Shepsiskaf is the successor
end of the 4th dynasty.
Menkaura, the one that we relate the 3rd pyramid here to. We can see the name here of the king.
Yeah, exactly.
Shepsiskaf. So it's the end of the 4th dynasty. The fourth dynasty, according to the official story, is the dynasty that built these pyramids. So, according to the official story, recycling stones from the Giza Plateau started on the Middle Kingdom time, and they found the stones reused from the Giza Plateau. They found it used in the pyramids of El-Lisht or Ethit Tawid, as we mentioned before on the video. But this, on the official story,
Cool guys don't look at stone boxes, yo.
evidence of
This
recycling.
Kyle's just like staring
Here
off
we are
in
in
the
the
side.
first dynasty tomb of Ra'wer, and it was excavated by the Professor Salim Hassan. We can see over there his offering hall, and we can see in this offering hall, if we look over here,
I don't know why it's waving, like my phone was hot or something.
that he used. Well, of course, the stone masonry here is reflecting definitely the capability of the first dynasty.
Yeah, so this is all 4th dynasty masonry we're saying,
Stones here.
which it is. And this is where it gets interesting.
We have this one over here.
It's a pillar base, yeah.
This was his offering hall. And this, as we can see here, was one of the offering tables. But
That's a reused pillar
Professor
base.
Salim Hassan mentions that this is a very odd shape for an offering table, because we are never used to see them round like this. I recognize this very well. This is a base of a pillar.
Yeah.
And obviously it was being reused in this structure.
Might have to get. I'm sure
The base of the pillar
Sebastian's got this video from his
will
phone. I'll
be
probably get
this
that from
part
him.
Lower, underground, and only this part will be above the ground, and then the pillar was going to be on top of it. We can see even part of a circle here that is a different color, because the pillar here stayed for
And
a
it's that
longer
same
time. See the different
crystallized
colors between here
alabaster.
and here?
It's a calcite build-up when the water
So
is going in. Yeah.
that's a base of a. This is an evidence of recycling. Here also, to give you more evidence, here you can see that this is perfectly round. Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show that it's perfectly round.
Director Yusuf. Show it. Show the people.
Now, if you would follow me.
He knows when I'm filming him. He's all like, yeah, we'd show the people. Yeah, right. But this is the 4th dynasty. Like, that's the thing. Like, we know that the recycling and reuse of stone happened, but it's like, well, yeah, they reused the old kingdom stuff. But they were doing this in the 4th dynasty. This is... It is another cup of tea. I don't know if he's drinking coffee there, but he's...
Anubis.
Anubis, the guardian.
The guardian of the cemetery. Here we can see another base of a pillar that was used also as an offering table. But look here, the circle is not complete. Is it clear? It is clear.
Yeah, they
That the
carved
circle
it,
here
cut it.
was carved. Why? To put the depiction of the priest. And we can see here the inscription and his name down here. Ra-wer. This is the priest from the 4th dynasty.
4th dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we have a conclusive evidence that shows that stone was
No.
being recycled
No.
since the Old Kingdom time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Begs the question, where was it being
Yeah.
recycled from?
So yeah, I love that. And so this is another pillar base that they cut the edge off to then put a depiction on. So it's... really, I think it's very convincing evidence that this is a practice that was happening a lot earlier than the Middle Kingdom. Question is, can he get in trouble with the Egyptian government giving his alternate views on the pyramids? I don't think so. No. Like there's lots of debate about this stuff in that Egyptian community. You've got a lot of professors that have different opinions on stuff, and he's respectful to he understands the orthodox approach too, but he's not going to get in trouble for expressing his opinion on this or saying what he wants to say. He might get called crazy, but that's about it. He's not going to get in trouble. He's never going to become a licensed tour guide, but I don't think he wants to. Like, he's not an actual tour guide. He's he runs a shop and he's a stonemason and he runs a business, the Kemet School, but so we have the licensed tour guides with us on the trip. We always have one, and they give us the you know, the orthodox story, the version of the story in a lot of cases. And they're good guys, you know. They kind of know how Yusuf works. They understand his opinion. You see him talking all the time, like he's explaining stuff all the time to him. But their job is to give you that official story. Like that's what they have to do. That's how they maintain their license, I guess. So whenever you have a tour guide in Egypt, similar story to Peru, like they're certified on the basis of them giving you that sort of certified version of history, the official truth, you know. But they were good dudes, yeah. We had one guy in Lower Egypt and another guy up in Upper Egypt. Friendly dudes, and funny, and yeah. I mean they know how Yusuf works, right? So it's like we go to the museum and they don't even pretend to like, because you use the little headset thing. They just here give it to Yusuf, let Yusuf talk. Because most of the time on the site's Yusuf talking to the crowd, like he's giving you the opinion. He knows the Orthodox story too, but they'll definitely chime in and say like, all right, here's the story of how this temple was made. Because we do go to a lot of actual dynastic temples on these trips as well. You got to go to like Dendera, Edfu, you know, the Komombo, like all these different spaces that have all got this beautiful artwork on them, the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. It's very, very much worth seeing. Some of them have, like, I think, longer pedigree, but there's work been done on them. Karnak and Luxor, I think, are good examples, where I think they stretch back way further into time, but then they've been worked on extensively in particularly the Middle Kingdom and then even the Ptolemaic periods and stuff. So having, you know, it's important to have. You can't just dismiss everything the dynastic Egyptians did. Like most of the people that come on these trips are focused on the megalithic and the evidence for the high technology kind of stuff, which is fine. But you do learn, I think, on these trips too, not to, and Yusuf says it a bunch of times, you can't really underestimate what the dynastic Egyptians were capable of, because they were there for at least 3,000 years, 3,500 years, and they got very good at a lot of these forms of stonework, and they created some amazing things. Like all those hyper-style halls, these incredible, you know, I took some fantastic pictures, I think, of Karnak and you know, Luxor and these places, but you know, it's all done by them. Like at least the stacked columns and things are here. This sort of stuff here, like this is incredible work. You know, like these huge columns. This is all stacked sandstone. You know, and they would stack them and then finish them. And they'd stack all these blocks up on top, and they'd paint all this. This is all dynastic work. Like this isn't this. I don't think this is megalithic. It's massive amounts of and incredible work. And like some of these are huge. Look at this, and there's even further layers. So see these layers of columns back here, and then there's even more, a second level stacked up on top of them again. And so this is an interesting one in the background here. You can see how it's not finished. So they would stick this one here. They would stick these. That's how they would do it. Then they would literally shave off the sandstone and finish the columns down. You've even got elements of this one that aren't quite finished. And then amazing. Stack and finish or finish and stack. Stack and finish. You can see it here, like on this one on the right, how they would stack then finish. But then you have this shit, right? And I think this is the stuff that predates them. I think they did the writing. I think they got real good at doing writing with steel tools and iron in later periods, but this is these single piece granite objects and the statues and stuff. And there was a huge amount more here on this side originally than what's here now of this type of stuff. That's the difference. So there's a nuance. You learn to. I think the more you look at this stuff, the more you can sort of discern that nuance between what is very good dynastic work and then what's truly megalithic. It's like at Giza, for example, the Valley Temple's megalithic. I think that stuff predates the dynastic civilization. But you also have like some people say, well, they must have built it out of granite because they wanted it to last. I mean, they built plenty of other stuff out of limestone, smaller bricks, and 4th dynasty architecture. That's all still there. Like it has lasted. Like they built very well, but it's not remotely the same thing as these giant sort of 70-ton pieces of granite. That make up things like the Valley Temple, or doing, you know, what's this 400 or 500 ton obelisk that they call Hatshepsut's obelisk. I think it's about 400 plus tons, single piece. You know, it's fantastic. We got trying to get them activated. And then this sort of shit, right? So this is at Karnak too. This is the biggest drill hole that's there. It's this giant sort of 8-inch tubular drill in this big old piece of granite. Massive tube drill. And I got video of it all. The blocks across the top of the columns are megalithic. They're huge. Yeah, well, megalithic being, I guess, the term for megalithic architecture and big architecture. I still think the dynastics did that stuff. There's big lumps of sandstone. I think they were able to put that up there. You're probably talking like 70, 80 tons for some of them, but I think they were able to do it. And this is so it's a nuance, and it's something. It's my thinking on this has developed over time, where it's like, I think the difference is between these two types of architecture really comes down to like three categories of stuff, and for me anyway, it's like it's the machining marks. So you've got which is the tube drills, the saw marks, the evidence for these tools that I don't think we can explain with the capabilities of dynastic Egyptians. We see that Abu Sir and all over the place, right? These overcuts and the finishing and the polishing, like the evidence for machining. It's not on everything, but where you see it on these objects, and certainly not in the writing either. So I think that's one category of stuff. The second one is the precision. So anything that is measurably precise down to these, like the box in Lahoon, the thousandths of an inch, the stuff that it's ridiculous. It's this degree of precision that's not at all required, but it may be the result of manufacturing processes. Things like symmetry in the statues. That's another category of stuff, and a way to tell the difference between the dynastic and I think the builder culture for whatever. And then the last category I kind of mostly put a lot of this stuff in is the really, really big shit, like anything above about 300-400 tons. And then it's also dependent on where it is. So I do think that like the 1,000 tons plus statues, which must have come from blocks that were 1,500 tons or if not more, the unfinished obelisk, the most of the single piece obelisks and the single piece granite columns, that hard material, when there's these massive, huge amounts, quarrying it, moving it, shipping it, I think all of that's beyond the capabilities of the dynastic Egyptians. But I do think they were capable of moving like 100 tons, maybe even 200 tons around of sandstone and other objects, and they may have been able to move some of this bigger stuff. But when you get to things like the Serapeum, you're now dealing with a confined space with 70 tons of box in a confined space like that, where there's no way to do that with these primitive manual methods. That's another variation on this, where I think you have to resort to some form of technology or something beyond what we can attribute to the dynastic Egyptians in order to explain it. So that's kind of the category of stuff. And if you don't see those elements in any particular thing for me, then it's like, well, you don't know who did it. Or it could have been done the other way. Like this thing here, for example, like this fucking thumb of this hand, like this is conglomerate quartzite. Like it's all flint and quartzite and just different material. Like humongous statue. This would have been like 1,000+ ton statue. That's just its hand. It's like the one at there would probably be multiple of these at Karnak. I got a really good scan of this too, actually. And there's the giant foot at Tanis that's made out of granite. Material considerations come into it too, like some of the stonework and the particular types of stone is, I think, comes into it. But it's it's something. My opinions on this have definitely developed the more that I've seen a lot of this stuff. And again, I think the thing I want to reinforce is that it's not, you can't underestimate the capabilities of the dynastic Egyptians and what they could do. But yeah, not this. And you can tell, like this, when you're there and we look at it in person, I have all the video from it. The finishing level and the polish that's on the thumbnail, on the cuticle, right? This little layer here. This versus what this writing is that's been scratched into this thing here. Two worlds, it's two different worlds. Yeah, it's two different industries entirely. This is much finer and this is much smoother and this is all rough and handmade and you can see it. And you see the same damn thing at Luxor. I think if you saw my live stream at Luxor, you can literally see how the hieroglyphs have been added over the details on the belt and the knife that's on the belly, the belt of the statues. Like, it's painfully obvious that came much later, and it was a much different technology to the manufacturing of the statues itself. And I just don't understand how the mainstream can just ignore that continually. Tool marks, precision, in some cases erosion. Yep, that's another, erosion's another good factor. I don't understand it well enough really to get into it. I'm really looking forward to the opinions of some geologists on this stuff next year. And yeah, I'd love to get more geology opinions on the erosion. It's like you kind of have to look at it outside of context. That's if you can, you know, take a picture, because some of the erosion on particularly the stuff up at the, I mean at the at Giza at the Valley Temple is crazy. Like the level of erosion is insane. Not just there, but in many places really. This is Menkaure. So you see the scoop marks. You also have these. These are like scoop marks, much like the granite quarries. You have these scoop marks on this bottom level of these blocks at Menkaure as well. I hadn't really noticed that before, but they're the same sort of scoop marks you see in the quarry. Cuts in basalt. Okay, let me see. Sorry, I'll catch up on chat here for a second. Let me put on a video. Let me catch up on chat. Sorry, I've been ignoring. I haven't been able to read all the chat. Let me. What are we going to put on chat? What do we want to see? Let's look at some Pocket Osmo stuff. What do we got?
Altimeter, I can see that line. Like
Valley Temple.
The joint line, that first one. Yeah. You can look down at it. It's a little, like a mini Osmo, little mini stabilized camera. Snakes! We do, yeah. I want to get up on top of that too. Bring a ladder.
Like the statue in the Lord of the Rings. Not quite that big. I wish we did stuff that size, but Statue of Liberty size. Yeah, so that was Petrie's determination for the statue at Tanis. It probably and in fact, if you in my video on that statue, I have a comparison between the foot of the statue and the foot of the Statue of Liberty, and about the same size. So the seated statue with its crown may have been about the same height as the Statue of Liberty, minus the pedestal. So from her feet to the top of the hand was likely about the same size as that granite statue. You know, insane. The one at Tanis. Like 100 feet tall, 100 and something.
I believe so. No, I think the floor's the original structure. The floor here is original. Yeah, there's a lot of restoration. The concrete. Yeah. Okay.
The ugly one is restored.
Yeah, chiseling, exactly.
They didn't restore it with the calcite.
Robert Lansett, can we really do this type of work even today with our machines? All I see today in countertops of plain stone buildings, nothing like the tips of a finger with the detail of a fingernail. I think we could. I think for sure we could. We could make it if we wanted to, but it would be prohibitively expensive and would require the manufacture of custom machinery to do it. Because you're right, what we do today with granite is we cut...
That's well, they definitely found a couple statues.
The Ganja Wise. Thanks for the follow, dude. Ganja Wise. Very nice. I think today we cut slabs and we polish them, and we have industries and machines set up to do that. But if we were trying to make a box or a statue, I mean, we do make them. Like there's a statue in Egypt, Nesser. It's called Egypt. Well, the translation is Egypt Rising. See if I can find it. What the hell is on here? Wet job. It's a Tarkov mission. It's not like this isn't Pornhub. It's a Tarkov mission. Let's see. I did make a Venmo account too. People were like, "Have you got Venmo?" I got Venmo now. What's it called? Egypt Rising statue. So we do make stuff out of Egypt Rising. Come on, this isn't it. It's literally a modern statue that they made. So we do make statues. They bolted it together out of granite. It was made in the 50s. Egypt Rising statue, modern Cairo. For fuck's sake. You know, sometimes duck, it doesn't do that well. Google. Sometimes you have to resort to the axis of evil over here. Still doesn't show us. There it is. That's it there. So they made this statue. For fuck's sake. Okay? They made this out of granite. In the 50s or 60s. It's not that big. It's made out of 3 or 4 different pieces, bolted together, which is pretty much how you do it. And they couldn't polish it. They had to send it to Italy. They sent it to Italy to be polished, and then they've had it out in the sun for about 50 years, and it's lost its polish already. I'll tell that story in one of the videos, but it's remarkable, right? That even with our best effort, remarkable one that Egypt can't polish granite effectively today. And then also that the polish that they did give it wore off within like 50 years versus the stuff that we see that's laying out in the desert, like that goddamn column that's at Bastet, which we didn't get to in the end. We spent the day at Tanis, and then Yusuf said we should take our time there rather than rushing off to Bastet, which I do agree, but one of these days I do want to get back to Bastet to see that column again. Ben has been busy. Ben played a little bit of Tarkov when he got back. Yeah, not much. I think it's on now. Yeah, it is. Oh, God. Exit the game. We'll come back to that later. Have you ever seen Zahi Hawass in person? Yes, I've met him. Met Zahi. Not sure how to subscribe. Gunja-wise, the button is missing. Yeah, Alright, so stand by for the story again, chat. So I removed myself from the Twitch affiliate program, which means you can't subscribe. But the tip link is there, and you could Venmo me the $5, or you could use the tip button for the $5. I'll get the $5 instead of $2.50 too if you do that. And the problem with the Twitch, you have to be in the affiliate program to be able to subscribe. But it does a couple things. It's a contract. It locks you in to only streaming on Twitch. You can't stream on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube at the same time right now. So if I was doing this, I'd be in breach of contract with them, and then you also give away all your rights, your likeness rights, your branding rights, all that stuff. So I was like, I can't do that. I can't sign that contract. I want to be able to stream on YouTube occasionally too. So yeah, I don't have the sub button, and you know, maybe it was a dumb idea. Maybe I should stay on Twitch and do it, but I don't know. It's the tip button works, and honestly, you know, it works out better anyway. It's the same. I mean, other than the Prime subs, which doesn't cost you guys anything, but you know, Twitch is kind of like a pimp in that respect. They take half the money all the time, and everyone else takes less than that. So, but yeah, I'm not in the Twitch affiliate program anymore. But thank you for looking for the sub button though. I appreciate I do appreciate the thought. And there are other, if you want to use any of the other mechanisms, they're available. But I don't mind either way. But yeah, I've met Zahi. So I shook his hand. I listened to him lecture a couple times on the Graham Hancock trip in 2015. Did I leave London Viking? Did I leave Twitch? They cancelled your sub. You're on YouTube. Yeah. So same thing. You prefer YouTube more for now. Oh, Twitch, dear shoot you. Yeah, so sorry, I missed that comment to London Viking. Yeah, so I didn't leave Twitch. I just removed myself from the affiliate program. And I don't think it's like they're actually going to chase after me if I was streaming in 2 places, but I don't really want to be in breach of contract, and I certainly don't want to give away all the rights in the world, you know, that type of thing. This poor kid. Gizer's really not wheelchair accessible. It does make it tough.
I guess they would have.
Where?
Ceremonial.
I want to see. Did we have the? So this other remarkable thing that happened on the causeway here. Was it this day, Russ? Do you know if you're still here? Where we were kicking sand into this thing. Was it the first day? We were looking at these shafts. Yeah.
If you keep the grade here.
Why do you not try Rofkin?
Oh my god.
I need a laser.
I don't have laser, but I can throw a rock.
Yeah, we can time the rocks.
Yeah.
It's good to see a pipe shot.
Oh, and the decomposing granite. Yeah, decomposing granite is very interesting. Captain, watch your back, son. Hello. Wicket. Eyes are failing me. Got to sleep. Yeah, take it easy.
Thomas Boyle subscribed to the channel.
Thank you, Thomas. By the way, those are alerts for subscriptions to the YouTube channel. They're not Twitch subs. But thank you for the sub. First and second day. Okay, I must have it in my video here somewhere. I feel like I.
Who knows? Maybe there is other 2 levels like the No, if the
So these are these deep shafts off the side of the causeway here. I'm looking for something in particular though. That was really cool that Yusuf showed us that I hadn't seen before either. Actually on the causeway.
Yeah. On the rail. Oh yeah.
Not there. So talking about erosion, right? This is the Valley Temple. Not Valley Temple, the Mortuary Temple or the Upper Temple. We also did some, we looked around, found a block in this structure that likely weighed somewhere in the order of 230, 240 tons. Absolutely insane. Maybe. Alright, I gotta find this piece, this little thing here. And you just the erosion on this is what we were talking about, erosion as being a feature. If you could take pictures of some of this erosion outside of the context of like, hey, it's the Giza Plateau, or hey, it's the Mortuary Temple and on the Middle Pyramid, and you sent it to a geologist, I think you'd get some pretty wild answers for how long it might take to erode limestone like this. But I think the second that you send it to them in any form of context where they know it's actually at Giza or it's part of a pyramid structure, that you're not going to get the answers. So it'd have to be handled, I think, fairly carefully. Yeah, we're walking down the causeway, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I think we were still dicking around at the causeway here. Was it after we visited this place? Kent Cowis. This is I think it was either a pyramid or a structure of Kent Cowis. It's off on the side of the plateau. We got into this as well. This was pretty cool actually getting in here. I've been wanting to get in there for some time. And I'll show you that as well, but I kind of want to find this other thing right now. This is inside this structure here, actually. I'll just show you this quickly for now. This is inside Kent Cowis. It has this big granite, like, sliding... It's not a huge internal structure. Gator Pole, thanks for the follow, man. Which pyramid? I think the step pyramid. It actually, I think the carbon dating on that wood had it being a little bit older than the orthodox dating, but pretty much in the ballpark, like maybe a few hundred years off, like earlier. Which makes sense. I think the dynastics built the step pyramid on top of what was probably a pre-existing subterranean structure and box and stuff. The other thing you have to consider is it's possible that some of the stuff was repair work or renovation work. In fact, but the wood in the step pyramid was one of the first materials to ever be carbon dated. In fact, it was used as... Ever played Senate? I have not. Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, this is totally legal. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Welcome to Egypt. Yusuf style.
So interesting little structure down here. I'll probably roll a little video out on this one at some point too, just to show people what's down here. Anyway, where is it? The old false door. Okay, is this the causeway, Ben? I know. We're in the bent pyramid there. Okay, must have been either a phone video. Sorry, guys. I know this is probably quite painful. But yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't gone through this material other than just collecting it all for now. Trying to find. What is this stuff? This is interesting. So this, I kind of wanted to capture this. This is on the side of the Valley Temple. There's a big channel block that pokes out the side of it that's been snapped off. It's like a whole channel block thing that's just stuck in the side of the Valley Temple. You were streaming it. Ah, okay. Gatopol, good to see you, man. Zahi doesn't believe in LiDAR scans. Where is it?
Check on you!
This one.
Because I don't believe in radar.
I don't believe in radar. Maybe you were too. Was I streaming that first day? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe you're correct. I feel like I whipped out my camera and we looked at it though. Aha! as he looks for it. So this is on the causeway, right? So this is on the causeway. So on the causeway that runs between the Middle Pyramid and the Valley Temple. And in parts of this, there's these huge limestone blocks on it. And it was once sort of covered in fine white limestone casing blocks. But in a few places, we found like 5 or 6 of these. There's cracks in between the blocks, and you watch what happens. And you have to consider that this stuff has been open to the air, and people have been kicking sand in here for God knows how many thousands of years. Yusuf's dad showed him this when he was a little kid, and been pouring sand down it ever since. You've got to ask, where the F is the sand going?
Because there's a space.
Because this is a ceiling. This is a ceiling. And usually the huge blocks are used for a ceiling. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the video.
Yeah.
How do I open this on its side? This. No, incorrect, man.
Is because there's a space.
Because this is a ceiling. This is a ceiling. And usually the huge blocks are used for a ceiling.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the video.
Yeah.
So if you tilt your head on the side,
Exactly.
you'll see
So
down
why
the
would it
causeway
be
that way.
unless there is a huge space. And I walked here as a child, and my father said the same thing, that what I am demonstrating here for you. He said there is a huge space underneath here. Otherwise, these parts wouldn't be taken sand for God knows how many years.
Wow. Yeah.
Still has more space, like how long would it take? Yeah. To fill that space.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How huge it is. So because we can see all this line here is all huge pieces. And also
like a load-bearing wall or something.
And they are also interlocking.
It's a ceiling.
So don't look at the deterioration now. These pieces are accurately joined together. This is sharp. Very sharp.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't that funny? So, right. I mean, what do you do with that information? This is the Egyptian wedding. Middle Pyramid. I can recognize these things instantly now. It's so funny. Okay. So yeah, that was another revelation, like seeing those, and there was several of those. So you've got to ask the question, like, what's beneath the ground? You know, if those are the ceiling of something, there's a space under there, and why haven't they run a goddamn ground penetrating radar unit across that whole thing? It just feels like that's a massive missed opportunity. Oh, Saxe 1-1. This is the wrong part of the world. Yusuf's shop.
Centered here, like
This is Yusuf's store.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same. We call it church. That's Kura. Okay.
Tomb of the Crocodile Kings. They have that at Komombo. They literally have a Tomb of the Crocodile Kings. Excellent video work, man. Thanks, man. Cheers.
That's what they were doing. Yeah, I'm like, oh, man. Wow.
So you can say.
Watch your eyes. Yeah.
Right.
So this can be carved by
Some-
the iron chisels.
So we're doing some
These iron
practical
chisels
work.
is not going to do anything to the other one with the numerics. You will see it.
Okay.
This is the so.
I captured it. This is the drill hole that's in front.
Stone over here and then the corners here.
What happened there?
This is the.
So this is in front of the Valley Temple. I think I've explained this to you guys before too, but this is like a little pipe that's just poking up out the ground. You're like, what the fuck's this? So, and there's a concrete pad on it. This is what they drilled here. They took a core drill and they went down like 120 feet or something and they found granite. And bear in mind, this is a limestone outcrop. There's no granite anywhere near here. You have to go 500 miles to find the granite. So at 100-something feet down there, they hit granite. So what does that tell you? That there's probably something under the ground that's been made of granite. Somebody's put granite blocks or some structure that's down there. I believe they also dug a boat up somewhere in front here, and then they reburied it in earlier excavations. Like, well, we've got enough boats, so we'll just put this one back in the ground and preserve it that way. But yeah, there's clearly something down here, and as far as I know, you know, they've never done any ground penetrating radar on the actual causeway, and it's just so insane that they haven't done that. Robert Schock and those guys did do some ground penetrating radar around the front of the Sphinx. They found a cavity beneath the paw. Zahi Hawass and Mark Lehner said it's a natural crack, a natural fissure in the bedrock. It's nothing. It's like those dudes have been drilling down there forever. In fact, there's that whole story. If you haven't seen it, it's probably worth a small diversion on. It's Robert Boval. If ever you want to go down to like it's an interesting little interesting little internet rabbit hole. robertboval.co.uk. You can go and check out his website. I think either his blog or his. You just scroll back through his blog and all the shit he's wrote here, and some of it. What does the Great Sphinx represent? The Quackademic Egyptologist. This gets into the controversy around the glyph that's in the Great Pyramid. Interesting reading. But this article here, searching for the Hall of Records at Giza, was it legal? And it gets into the the relationship between Hawass and Lehner and the Edgar Cayce Foundation and the Association of Research and Enlightenment, ARE, has had since 1974. And he has some, at least he had, where's the pictures? Does he have the, here we go. So this is like the first secret search in 1977-98, which is Hugh Lynn Casey and Mark Lehner in 1978 at the Sphinx. This is Zahi Hawass in 1978 with the young Zahi with the afro. Hawass supervising drilling under the Sphinx in 1978. You can actually see the drilling apparatus that they'd set up in 78. Boris Said, who was the project director for that Sphinx project in 93. The third search in 96, 97. This is more drilling, 2009. So they've been drilling under there for a long time, like looking for stuff. And it's all been done on the sly with the ARE and the Edgar Cayce Foundation. But if ever you want to like get to the bottom or learn a bit more about kind of the background and some of the secret shit that's been going on up at Giza and how Lehner and Zahi Hawass have been enabling that, go and read Robert Boval's website. It's very enlightening. I'm not going to go through it all now, but you guys should do that if you're interested. It's an interesting story, and it's something. Maybe we'll go through it in a video one day. Just using. You can see why, and this has probably got a lot to do with why Hawass hates Boval so much. Like, absolutely hates him. Has written all sorts of horrible things about him, particularly in the Egyptian press. Some of which I've talked about in previous blogs. Underground speculations. Who knows what's down there, man? But he's never found anything with radar. He's vehemently against the radar. Like, I don't know why. We asked him that question. That's my recording of his answer. So this is the video that came off the iPad. It's actually pretty good. I'm just going to flip through what I've got here. The museum. The museum. The schist in the museum. We found this thing. They'd moved it again. They move it every time on us. Here's actually next to the schist, they kind of moved all the interesting stuff together. They put this thing up here. We can actually nice of them to show where you can see its bottom, like how well it's balanced. This is that one jar I like to show people. It's just so well made. It sort of sits there on its tip. Could save all supreme speculation for the moon stream. I do need to get that moon stream together. I know I keep promising to do that. That'd be fun, actually. I should do that, huh? Like get that whole thing together. Sandor, what's up? So this is that piece that was before in J.P. Laurier's book. And they've repaired it, but this is that some of these pieces, you start to make the connection. It's always nice to see the depictions of it when they were discovered and then seeing the piece themselves. It's kind of why I want to get to the Petrie Museum, because I've looked into so much of these individual fragments that Petrie talks about, he wrote about, I've talked about them. They're all in his museum. You can go and look at them and stuff. And again, these are examples of the type of things that you found underneath the step pyramid. I don't know why I'm taking such... Maybe it's these live... I think it might be these live shots. This is the drill holes into the corner of one of these boxes. I will have to get my scans out for you guys. You know what I think this is? I think this is when you take a picture with the iPad, it takes a couple seconds of video footage. I was trying to find the companion box to this one where it actually doesn't. It's got the big tube drills, and they're not carved all the way out. Just fell off the couch. There's some cool stuff in there. Yeah, so I've got these other. I think they moved the other one to the big museum, but it's it has these, literally where 4 giant tube drills have drilled this out, and they didn't. You can see how this has been done with a tube drill most likely, and then they've polished it all out. But there's one of these where it's almost like a clover shape because of the tube drills they'd cut out of it. I have pictures of it, but I think I couldn't find it in the museum. I think they've either moved it to the new museum or put it somewhere else. Same thing again. The knee, the excellent knee. Okay, let's. I actually took some video here. I was kind of. This is going to be used as B-roll background footage. One of the things that I still like, even on these incredible boxes like this with these amazing carvings on them, is that you still don't have the polish in the carvings themselves, and you can see the box still reflecting light. So it's even as good as these carvings are, they were still added afterwards. Yeah, tube drills, they're most likely hiding it, right? That's like the inventory stele. They've hidden that away in a warehouse forever. I just like this example of the reflections on the stone, but you just don't. And as pretty as this box is, it's still been basically defaced. And then some of these boxes are definitely dynastic. I'll show you an example of. There's a couple of very good dynastic granite statues, the Ramses ones, that were done in the later periods. Again, they don't reflect those same few categories that I talked about before. They don't reflect machining marks. They don't reflect the precision, and they're not that big. They're not 1,000 tons. So they were capable of doing it.
Relative size guy.
Same thing, right? Just there's the unfinished box. I've kind of gotten a lot of footage of this in the past, so I kind of just moved out the way and let people in. I know where I ran over there first because I know where it is. I know Yusuf will bring everyone over there in a minute, sort of thing. The Black Ben is perfect too. It really is. Yeah, it's an interesting piece. In fact, I do want to talk about that some more because it has the one glyph that's polished. And I think it's the one feature you see on some statues and some objects that I think is something that may have been part of the original objects, but then was incorporated into the writing, and it's a brown, an indented circle with sometimes a dot in the middle, and sometimes it's just like an indented circle, and it's all polished. It's like the inside of a fingernail or something. But I think that gets kind of incorporated into writing, if you know what I mean. Like they look at that and they build around it. But it's very different to the hieroglyphs. It's like you see it on some statues and you see it on some features like that Ben stone, and it's the one thing that I've seen in a couple different places that is polished, and it is usually cut deeper, and it's a little bit different in style to the rest of the writing, but it's often used as part of writing, so it's a tough one, you know. I mean, that's kind of Ben from Uncharted X. Yeah, it's funny. You had jet lag from Egypt too. Stayed up watching your streams. Nice, thanks, man. You know it records them, right? It's nice to be there live. Actually, so if any of you guys are watching the streams on YouTube, I very much appreciate that as well. Thanks for doing that. I don't know what the new museum's going to be like, Kate. I think I'd like to think that they're going to put a lot more stuff on and have the room to really display a lot more stuff that hasn't... Because I'm confident, I mean, there's so much stuff that's been put away and it's been in warehouses for decades. Forever, really. And never really in view of the public. I'm hopeful that they'll have a lot more available. I hope they don't hide anything that's like, you know, I hope the schist disc makes it over there. I hope the real conundrum pieces make it over there, and that they don't just like bury those things.
It's the unfinished books. Please.
Yeah, we've talked about this. Tube drill. All right, let's skip past some of these smaller ones. Was this the 18th? Yeah, I was definitely busy on the 18th, wasn't I? I know I turned off that feature at some point. Here we go. Let's just skip forward to the next long video. No, we already were here, weren't we? Okay, this is... All right, so that's the 19th. What's on the 20th? 20th. This is probably another... Ah, yes. Okay, the Assyrian. I think we flew straight up and went straight to the Assyrian the next day. Was any of the writing at all pre-dynastic? Phil C. So my opinion, and that's all it is, and it's not, I'm not 100% certain on it. I don't think so. I think all of the writing was added by the dynastic Egyptians. That's my current opinion. I am yet to... So if you go back to that same category of things that I classify by, which is the machining, precision, and then size, I don't see that reflected in any of the glyphs or any of the writing. Even when it's very good, it's still handmade. And bear in mind that later periods, Middle Kingdom, New Period, Ptolemaic, they had access to iron tools. They also had millennia to perfect their art, and they had scribes and stone carvers and stonemasons, and they had the ability to do some really fine work. But it doesn't reflect power tools. It doesn't reflect the same degree of precision that you see in some of the objects. It doesn't really reflect the polish that you see, although it's possible that they did polish some of the stuff too, just with the sand and water and scratching method. But it just, I think it was all added later. I think whatever I don't think that the builder culture was using that form of hieroglyphs. At least maybe not on the stone itself. Like, definitely they had symbolic and ceremonial stuff. Like the statues, you can't call those functional. They had to have been ceremonial and representational of something. But I think that played a big part in the Egyptian culture, the dynastic Egyptian culture. I think they modeled themselves after it. And maybe they wrote that, maybe they had that language, but in other forms, not on the stone. But yeah, as far as I can tell, the carvings of writings, as far as I'm concerned, it's all dynastic. Why did they not write anything down? Maybe they did. Maybe it just was in a different form. Maybe it was written down on paper, or it was written down on some other form, like we would. How much stone carving do we really do these days? You know. I mean, you talk to some of the guys on the Nub crew on Twitter, they think that the Nubs are a form of language, but, you know, I'm not sure. This is interesting. We actually went into the Assyrian through a back way that I'd never. That this is actually the way into the end of that tunnel, like on the active dig site here. We kind of went. The Assyrians over here, and we went in all the way around and came in on the backside, which was cool. This is Abydos. This is all archaeological site. Like, who knows what's under the sand here? Like, shit everywhere. Used to be 50 meters above the ancient Nile levels, possibly. Lol, nub language. Yeah, I'm not convinced myself. They had computers and quartz and memory cards. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think. I don't think that they were carving on stone and writing stuff down. Where's Ben? Who said?
Yep.
Yep. Where's Ben? Okay, 209. Let's keep the show moving here. I want to get to some of the bigger videos. All right, there we go. What is this? Yeah, this thing's impressive. So I did dig up. So I dug up some pictures of where they had drained this, and so it does go in, particularly in this back section here, like another 11 meters, 30 plus feet down. I got told off by the nub people on Twitter. He did, yeah. Russ posted a nub, and there was all sorts of debate about it not being a nub. It was like, there's all these rules. There's all these rules about what is and isn't nubs now. Apparently, like it's just there's the nub thing has rules now. That's all I know. But that's fine. That's, you know, they've looked into it, yo. You know. Yeah, exactly, Kate. You know, I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm fairly convinced they had language. Like, language is at the root of civilization. You can't really organize without it. It's a big part of what sets us apart from other species. Abstraction, you know, a lot of it's abstraction. Like we abstract value into things like concepts like money, and that's the way the whole world works. Like we all agree that it means something together. And function that way. And abstraction is required for civilization and for the types of organization that we do as a species. So I'm convinced they must have had that, unless it's entirely different. But yeah. The nub committee declared your nubs invalid. This is true. The nubs almost always look well placed for lifting. Some of them. The nub literate. Oh yeah, they had the mathematics. Yeah, nubhilists. Okay, let's find some other interesting shit here. Oh, we got a big one here. What do I do here?
Luxor is the most beautiful city in the world.
One more thing. It's an impressive thing.
Oh, this is the thumb. This is Karnak. This is the thumb. I really wanted to get back to the thumb. Karnak, my friend, yes. They were building. Actually, what I should show you guys is this. Did you guys see the stream where we were getting lasered? These fucking assholes. So they're preparing a big old festival. So there's an avenue of sphinxes that runs like it's a kilometer or two between Karnak and Luxor, and there's all these not sphinxes, rams. So they've been uncovering, and they're putting on a big old parade. Like we were there at Luxor at night, and they were practicing. So there's this golden boat, and they had like the marching with the flags, and they're like testing it out. If you listen to the stream, they're yelling and carrying on. There's all this fuss that they're making. And then we were coming out of Luxor, and they were trying to get us out of the way or something. So these assholes with these bright green lasers were like flashing us, like they were trying to hit our eyes with them. And you can see on the stream like this laser like running across my face. And he definitely, like, I know Kyle got hit, a few other people got hit. One of the guys in the group got really pissed and was like, fucking grabbed one of these dudes and dragged him over and was all like in their face about it, which I was like, good for them. But yeah, it's like, this is some bullshit you don't do. I was complaining to Mo about it. It's like, that's not how it's done. Like, I'll bring my bloody laser next time. I got one of these ultra mega super giant ones that will literally burn your eyes out if it hits you with it. So we can play this game too and see how you go.
These are all pieces of it. Look.
Little pop balloons, you know. That's that sort of shit. Can't stop imagining a man filling nubs now. Yes, you must feel.
They say it's a scroll. They say it's a piece of cloth. They say it's a scroll with magic power. They say.
What's the stripes on the thumb? It's conglomerate quartzite. So see all this? It's like flint, which is an 8.
And 8.5 on the most.
8.5 for flint. Like it's hard to soft material. Very bad.
Like the details that is around the cuticle here is amazing. It's the same smoothness, and it's as close as that small details that we find in the inscriptions here. The dates and
Fight
the
laser with
release.
laser. That's right.
The question that I will always ask as a stone carver, why they didn't use the same tools and polishing that they used here to finish the work around the inscriptions here if they both were made at the same time. Some academics can say that the inscriptions was done by a different person than the carving. I can agree with that, no problem. Still, these two stone workers must have similar tools. Like at least I will be very careful with the inscriptions, as good as the details. So you can see here, look at the finishing here.
Sorry about the wind noise. Shit was windy.
Over here, all these sharp details. And look here, this is also looks rough in the inside.
The edgings are soft.
The edge is part of the original.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was holding a hammer or something.
Yeah, I don't think they cut it off. It
was like this.
It was like that. They just laid the inscriptions in there. Look at the content of flints in this.
Yeah, right. It would have been crazy, and just that material, like this is the flint. This is the stripes on it. That's the flint in it. Is not. I mean, the size of the block that it must have come out of. You know, single piece. What was with the chanting group at Pyramid? Sounded like when a political or soccer crowd would get into yelling. I carved up the thumb with a lightsaber. It must have been. What was up with the chanting group at the Pyramid? Sounded like a political or soccer crowd would get in. Just random kids. Which chanting group was this? I don't know. Which pyramid are we talking about? Oops. What are we talking about? Whoops. Oh, it's a panorama. Jesus Christ, it's a big panorama. Oh, there's the boat. Look at that. There's the Alyssa. This is our boat here, the one on the right. It was very nice. Is there more of the statue anyway? There is. So all those pieces around it. All the stuff that's around it here. Where did we get to it here? So there's all these chunks. You can see all these other chunks of like... This other stuff's the same material. It's all just broken pieces of the same thing. Like, I think there's lots of pieces of this out here. Maybe they could reconstruct it. How the hell it got broken up, I don't know. It's not an easy thing to do. Just before you were looking at cooked rocks. Chanting. Huh. I don't know. We definitely ran into some chanting. There was this... There was this very strange group. There was a couple of strange occurrences. There was I don't know if I've got footage of it. Maybe I do. Russ, you remember those guys? The singing or chanting used to try to get them to stop. Oh, the kids that were going past us on the first day. Well, up at Giza, yeah, there were kids that were singing and chanting. Damn. Then yeah, there was a pyramid cult, but there was the other two girls. who someone called them goddesses. These two like hot chicks, the type of girls, were like sitting in the middle pyramid when we came in. We marched in all like with our torches and shit, and like looking at the box and like, look at the shit on the box. This is in the Kafra pyramid, and one of them asked Russ, "Do you meditate?" Gets in there, it's just like, and so we got in there, and Yusuf started toning, and they just started doing sitting there and like cross-legged, like channeling while they're in there. It was pretty funny. Eventually, the guard I think chased him out, but there was this other pyramid cult that we ran into. They were at the hotel apparently. There's this one guy, and I didn't. Russ saw him at the hotel, but they were like standing in a circle, and it's just the same one guy. This big shit-eating grin on his face, just like hugging people in the middle, and they're all chanting and toning around him. And we were at Dashur, and we went into the red pyramid, and Yusuf played his flute down there a little bit. And then so the rest of us, we'd moved up to the upper chamber, and we were coming back, and all you hear is this roaring, like, oh, like super loud oming and toning. And I'm like, who the fuck is doing it? I thought it was people in our group. I thought it was like we had these couple Czech guys that were kind of could have been loud. Like maybe it was them. It's the first day, so I wasn't sure. Like I didn't know everyone then. And I'm like, who the hell in our group is like making this god awful racket? And it was no one in our group. It was this same mob that had come in, and they were standing in the first chamber in the red pyramid, just roaring in this off tone like just oming. And the same dude was like big smile, just like hugging, and they're all surrounding like hugging. He's got the one guy, and I'm just like, that dude's fucking everybody's wives, you know? He's the one like, yes, you must come to cult, but I will fuck all the women. Like, that's sort of a cult thing going on there. But he was the one hugging everyone in the middle with the big grin on his face. And it was just like, all right, I'm leaving. I'd just like to get through this patch of weird as fast as possible and get the hell out. So, yes, the hippie goddess meditators were there, and then there was a full-blown pyramid cult. It was strange. But, I mean, people arranged, let's go to Egypt and channel the ancient wisdom. And I will conduct you into the sky with the hugs. Like, fuck if I know. I'm sure it's something like that. If you speak slowly and confidently, people will listen. This is how a lot of cults get started. I wonder if I have anything from that when we were in that. Let's go back and I feel like I had it on my Pocket Osmo maybe when we were there. Was this? What was this there? Let's see if those we got the meditators.
Oh yeah.
Were we going there the second day or the first day? I can't remember. Okay, Kent Cowas. It was the second day, wasn't it? Flipping through it, people. We're going back through this again. That's the bent pyramid. Alright, so it wasn't that. Maybe I got out the Osmo? No, it didn't whip that out until there, so maybe it was just the phone. There's the big old hole in the ground. This could be it here.
You got it.
Immediately, yeah.
Oh yeah, there they are. Yeah, what is this? 953. 953. Open with. Let's see. This flips it around for us. It was day 2. One women, 2 money, 3 pyramid sing-alongs. Indeed. Never a boring day. Yeah.
That's better.
Everybody got enough love for everybody.
Snake boom cow.
Me trying to hit
This
tones.
the lights, yeah. Yeah, immediately, yeah.
Yeah, there they are. They're just like, do you meditate? I don't know if I caught it on camera or not.
Alright.
Useless buddy with the guy.
You might want to get that picture.
Okay, no, all right. I didn't tape the rest of it. That's fine. Okay, all right. What else? Excuse to wear cool culty hats. I do wonder if I don't know if I got it in the red pyramid. I'll see if I can catch him on the red pyramid here. Let's see. I did get much better footage inside the bent pyramid. Let's have a look at that. London Viking. Cheers, man. Thanks for hanging out. I'm what's the time? 4 o'clock. I'll probably. Oh, this is the bent pyramid here.
What are you doing, Ben?
Just filming.
Oh, you're filming.
Hello. Yeah. Just had to get my camera out.
It's such a this is at the bottom of the bent pyramid. This thing's such a tight pyramid to get into. Did many people get the poopies? I think a couple of people got the mummy tummy. Neo Hippie, welcome back. I do think a few people got the mummy tummy here and there. There's some. I'm going to do a video on the bent pyramid because I did get a lot of good footage going through here. This is a strange passage that you sort of have to crawl through to eventually bust out into this.
Obviously, you've been here a couple of times.
Second time now.
It kicks your butt.
It does.
That's Mark.
The guy said you used to be able to get through there to see the light shaft.
That's the.
What was the final count for the trip? I think we had 30,
So
33.
on the western.
It's the magic
side.
number.
You can't. It's up way up the top.
I remember we did get a better look through this doorway later on. I'm kind of trying to get to the red pyramid. So this is one of this is
Everybody's coming up, so you go.
Yeah.
it's like this big drops down beneath you into this shaft in this area inside the bent pyramid.
Oh yeah.
There's Fred coming up. And this is the I think the Bat Cave, the final chamber. I'm trying to look at
There's sections of it that are finished.
I'm trying to get to the red pyramid actually. Careful with the chicken there. Chicken was good. There was no problem with the chicken. It's the lettuce you want to worry about. It's the only thing they wash in the water. The chicken was fine as long as you cook it. You know, it's fine. You just as long as you cook it thoroughly, it's generally okay. But the food was actually excellent on this trip. I had no problems at all. Most people were fine. The food was wonderful. It's like very much improved the last few times I've been to Egypt. So most of these tunnels we always see in Egypt original or dug by explorers. Depends. There's definitely some dug by tomb robbers and later periods, but a lot of the stuff's original, I think. The uncooked water harbours plenty of bugs you're not used to. That's right. Yeah, I mean if your gut flora evolves sufficiently over time, you'll be able to deal with it, and then you'd probably get sick when you came home because it's about that ecosystem and you getting the right bacteria and whatever and dealing with it. But I was fine, you just don't drink the water, you drink the bottled stuff. I bring a pump. Where is it? I probably got it here somewhere. It's in that bag there. I bring like a first need water pump, and I pump the tap water and yeah. So having undercooked chicken, undercooked chicken would be different. That's always an issue anywhere, really. But I think it's more like the salad and anything they wash in water. Although I was eating it. It was fine. This is outside. I think we're going into the red here. That's the Ben on the red. Some of the casing stones. I hadn't been around to all the sides of the red, so I wanted to get around there and look. So you'll probably be able to start. This is where you'll start to hear some of the toning from the culty group coming back there. I shouldn't be focusing on the stuff, but yeah, there's tons of chlorine. That's right. Just chlorinate the shit out of it. It's probably better than having the bacteria, but
you see the original level of the floor was here.
This has been. Sorry,
You're
I
right.
cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I was thinking of the residence, but this has been destroyed.
It's been excavated.
It won't
Yeah.
be the same. It won't be the same.
I think there's you
like
can see
90
you can
cubic
see,
meters of rock came out of here or something.
There's a
like
corner
this.
where the original floor is over there still.
Yeah.
And then they dug down in here. This is like 100
Salmonella,
tons of rock
something
came out of
like
here
that.
or something.
Does
More than
Lido
that.
work through sand? Not really. Some of the
Yeah, no, they
infrared
got rid of
stuff
it
can work
somewhere.
through a little bit of sand, but
Whatever
in
was in
general,
here, this whole
not
passage
really.
has been widened. Look at how they've cut the floor out of this passage. See that?
Yeah.
So whatever they took out of here, they must have had to do that for a reason, right? And there's a lot of
That's the
speculation
floor
that there
there.
might be something behind this block because it
Original.
doesn't seem to be load bearing, and
It's a different color. Yeah.
3 of them.
Just so
this
amazing corbelled
And this
ceiling
is
on
an
this
even
chamber.
bigger corbelled ceiling, right? It's huge.
Amazing.
Huge.
3 of them. I mean, so this one's turned 90 degrees to the other 2 as well.
It is. This is north-south, yeah.
Right, okay.
And then the other 2 are slightly
He thinks
offset
these
from
ones
each
were
other.
water
So you have
damaged?
The door that enters on the left,
and then on the...
door.
They don't. You can see, like, that corner. See?
Walls extended below the floor, okay.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
So
You can start to hear it now.
Walls extended below the floor, okay.
Yep. And then this is what the core masonry looks like. So you're getting a look at the inside.
A couple millenniums.
Pyramid.
This is the red pyramid. Okay, I didn't tape any more of it, but yeah, we had to escape through the loonies. He spoke of salt watermarks. I don't know if it is in there. I'm not sure. Sol Orion. Yeah. Yeah. I love this picture of Yusuf. Pretty funny. It's a good one. What else? What else can I share with you from this trip? Let's have a look. Elephantine Island was cool. Let's have a look through some of the pictures, shall we? Some people took some great pictures. Actually, I do want to show this thing that just cracked us up. Don shopping. Okay, so I sent this out on. Yusuf is a great dude. So it sent this out on Twitter. This is one of the Croatian guys, and if you have to listen carefully to this exchange. But the way this was highly entertaining for a while on the tour. Let me set this up. This is how you negotiate. This is him like shopping with a carpet vendor or some rug vendor on the trip, and his brother's filming it. Just you got to listen to the dialogue and the exchange. It's fucking hilarious.
Look how good I am for the first
You are
one.
beautifully good, but you're telling me that I could even get it for 60 probably. 600. 800, sold.
What it is?
Sold.
For what?
For this 4.
If you told me 750 for this 3 and I say no, now you need to add 50 pounds for this?
Yeah.
$3?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, I agree.
The minimum charge of looking at
I
it
agree.
is $3.
I agree.
To look.
800.
No.
You said 800.
I tell you, I count what you said. I did count what you told me.
You told me like this.
This is never 50.
He spent like 3 days and like became like old friends apparently by the end of all of this. But I just you told me for 600, 800 sold. he's like, you think I say for 750, then you add one more and it's for 800 for $3 extra. He says, I agree, sold. Just the guy's like, fucking what? And when he says 800 sold, just that reaction, like, what is this? It is just this. We watched this about 100 times on the trip. It was very funny.
Look how.
I like he goes, you are beautifully good. He goes, look how good I am. You are beautifully good.
Look how good I am for the first
You are
one.
beautifully good, but you're telling me that I could even get it for 60 probably. 600. 800, sold.
What it is?
Sold.
For what?
For this 4.
If you told me 750 for this 3 and I say no, now you need to add 50 pounds for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$3?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, I agree.
The minimum
Are you kidding? No, I agree.
charge of looking at it
I agree.
is $3.
I agree.
To look.
800.
No.
You said 800.
I tell you,
Okay. We did a little jam on the bus with Yusuf too. We all got, Ross and I bought little drums, and Yusuf brought a guitar along the last day we were there, and playing his flute, and had Kyle on the guitar, like a nice little. It's like a little clip of it. It wasn't bad. wish there was more of it. I didn't record any of it, but that was a cool little segment. It was fun. We played for a couple songs. It sort of hung together. It was nice. And Yusuf's like, next time we'll go to my studio, we'll bring it all. Like, all right, cool, let's do it. But yeah, I bought this. That was Yusuf on the flute. Yeah, Yusuf is incredibly talented. He does the this is him on the guitar on the boat. He's sitting here. We did this little cruise with beers and weed and whatnot. I did record this. I haven't tested any of the recordings from this. That's my mic on the table, so hopefully this worked out well. But yeah, he's very talented. Teach you about vibrations. Just about right. Let's see. Then there's Monty. Monty was fun on this trip. This was Monty. He literally basically this dude rolled up, one of the local keepers rolled up on a motorcycle. Monty walks over to him and says, give me your keys. He gave him his keys, and then he gets on the dude's bike, and after like 4 or 5, thing dies, he tries to take off, and he gets the clutch wrong. He finally just takes off and just heads off down the road. Like, we're at this in Hawara. It's weird, and then they sort of started panicking. These guys jumped up and jumped in a jeep, like a truck, to go off chase him. But he rode off down the road, and he turned around and came back on this dude's bike. Then came in and sort of did a big power slide in it on the way back. He was coming back on this dude's bike. It's unbelievable. It was the craziest thing. I was like, Jesus Christ, he just took the dude's bicycle. Like, that's his transport. Don't fuck it up, What the hell? Learn the oud car. Yeah. That was the Elephantine ride. Yes, it was. Yeah, we hung out on there was a lot of this sort of stuff going on. We spent a couple of hours with the band, Yusuf's buddies, the band. Good times, right? So, yeah, we had some fun. We had fun on this trip, We finally got the Nile cruise in. Like, I missed that the last time. The boys here did. Kyle and Russ did a bunch of a cappella jamming on the boat, just singing. That was cool. Yeah, lots of stuff. Lots of cool shit happened, actually. Let's see, raining. Snake Tone, Mastaba 17. Are you guys toning in there? Let's see. Yusuf playing the flute in the restaurant. It was fun, yeah, man. So it was, I don't know, it worked out really well. But I wanted to show some photos. Let's go through the photos. All right. Little kitties. This is at this rest stop halfway to Abu Simbel, which I am never going back to, but I went to that one time. Oh, this is pretty cool. Somebody made this for us. From this picture. That we took up at Giza. This picture of us. Pretty cool. Let's see. Put this back on. The welcome meeting. This is inside the second pyramid. So as you're walking down, like, this is where the passages intersect. There's 2 entrances to the second pyramid, and the ceiling gets way up there, and it's but did you wear your King Diamond t-shirt? I don't know what it is, but I don't I'm not sure if I've got a King Diamond t-shirt, what that is. Yeah, we saw that one before. These 2. These are pictures of people more or less that were on the trip. Kino and Katya. She's German. They're married. He's German and Brazilian, and they live in Germany. This is around the side of the bent pyramid with some of the broken monoliths that are around there. Sylvain chilling out on the side of the pyramid. So apparently that angle of the pyramid is perfect for like laying on. You just lay there and relax. Some people had very, very fine tastes in shirts and in apparel, I must say, on this trip. Arno. Mikko. Finnish guy. Claudio. This guy was like the... he was the last guy. You go, Claudio, come on. And he'd be like, I got to get the shot. I will come. And he's like running around. Just the last guy to come out of every place was Claudio. He's like had this giant torch, like this giant flashlight thing he'd light everything up with. He took some amazing pictures. But he were forever like he'd be running off in the corner. Like he's so enthusiastic. And it was just like he had to like, come on, man. Come on. Call you out of there. Get you out of there. It was fun though. We're just toning, bro. Yeah, that does need to be a t-shirt. That'd be cool. The live streams were tough. Like trying to walk around and pay attention to the people that I was there with, try to read chat, not fall over, follow the group, and kind of manage the iPad and all my other shit. It was actually a little exhausting. I think Russ threw his back out trying to do it. You had to shout down Claudio a couple times. Yeah, you're like, hey, come on, get out of here. That's a good one of you, man. In the tunnel in the Red Pyramid. This is, I think, sitting probably in the Red Pyramid, it looks like to me. Got a few good ones of Yusuf in here, actually. That's Claudio again. This is inside the Bent Pyramid. Mark and Aaron. Don. That was Don shopping before. Garrett. There's the Ben stone in the museum. Thanks for all the my memories. Where's Monty? Yeah, right. Well, so we lost Monty. We lost Monty like the first before the tour even started. Like the first day he came up with us. We were there a couple of days early, and we went to Giza both days, and we lost him literally that first day. He just went off with a vendor. He was like, he'd be walking around with money hanging out of his pocket kind of thing. And like, he's like half a yard sale happening at the same time, all the time. He's just like shit falling off him everywhere. Obviously he's been buying stuff. So the vendors are after him and he just gets his attention taken. And we had literally exited Giza. We were at Yusuf's shop, which is in this sort of chaotic part of like the little Giza area right next to the gateway to the pyramid. It's literally right in front of the Sphinx where Yusuf lives. Where his shop is. He has a place in another part of town too. But yeah, Monty's like, where are you guys? Like, I'm still at the Sphinx. It's like, oh shit, like Jesus, you can't go back in. It's like, all right, you got to try and negotiate and get him out. And then I think there's another occasion where Monty walked off. Him and another guy, we were literally having lunch at the Pyramids restaurant. And he's like, they decided to go for a walk. It's just like, we've got all these minders, you know. I'm not doing it, but Yusuf and Mohammed and our other minders are like, they're constantly counting us. And it's like little. You know, they're responsible for us. So they're like, we're going to make sure everyone's located and in the same place. And then, of course, you get to the time where we're all got to get on the bus and go. And you're like, we're too short. And like, when nobody knows where they are. And they've just wandered off into this chaotic part of like Cairo where they're just looking. It's all tourist trap shit everywhere. And eventually they found them or whatever. But it's like, God damn, guys, there's Monty. But he was great. He was actually hilarious the whole time. Monty was awesome. The group really came together. I think it was, really excellent group. I exceeded my expectations for this trip. I got to say. Anyway, so pictures of people. We can skip some of these. We did the balloon ride as well. That was cool. Everyone was excited to see the Serapeum. Actually, I wouldn't mind looking at some of my footage of the Serapeum, to be honest. And then we're probably going to close it off for the day. Although I might play some games. I was thinking about playing some games. Might do some Tarkoving. We got quests to do. Whoops, we don't need that. What did I say? Serapeum. I think I had the Osmo. And it would have been one of the last days, so let's try and find it, shall we? Oh. I do have to show you guys this other clip of us getting kicked out of the pyramid. It's probably worth looking at too, huh? It was pretty funny. And I may have encouraged Kyle to do this. I think that's the official story. Game time, indeed. Hey.
I found them.
Not phone, it's iPad, isn't it? It's the last video on the iPad. I have a feeling. Where the fuck is it? 1029. Okay, I mustn't have downloaded it yet. I don't know where it is. Because it was definitely like later on in this day. Okay, I haven't got it off the iPad yet. Never mind. Well, we'll save that for another stream then. It was pretty funny. Yeah, kicked out of the Great Pyramid. I should find it here. What is it? Why can't I find it? Let me have a look on the iPad. Maybe I'll just show you here. Close. Library. Whoops. Is it at the top or is it at the bottom? Bottom. Tannis, yeah, I'm missing all my Tannis stuff on here. I was going to try and show you the foot as well, but I don't have it. That's the video though. Here, I'm going to briefly share it on through my Google Drive. Let's see. Google Drive. Preparing. Let me just pop it up online here and I'll share it with you guys for sure. Yeah. Yes, upload. This was funny. Alright, that's doing its thing. Get that in a minute. I hope it doesn't mess with my upload because I am uploading also while streaming, so. Serapeum. Osmo. That's Tannis. That's popping quite a bit, isn't it? So that's 1030, 1029 was... so 1027, I believe. Let's have a look at that. What the fuck is this? Yeah, that's the step pyramid. And then we also did the... You're finding... Huh, maybe I didn't use... Maybe I used my Pocket Osmo for this. It was 1028. 1027. Okay. Hey, here we go. Yeah, I maybe I used the iPad quite a bit, but we were down there on the boxes. Okay, we got this. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. While you guys look at that, I'm just going to pull up this over here.
Inside the Serapeum. Giant bloody box. Rose granite.
Yes.
The old false door on this.
Yeah, uploaded just now. Okay. Download. Here we go. So I was looking around. This is at the sort of the height of the big rose granite box. I got into a lot more of the boxes, kind of in and around them. Giant bloody things. Chunking. I don't know why it's chunking. Stop chunking. me trying to get out of the hole. Oh, we get to watch me climbing out of there. Okay. You hop over and walk around on it. These things are massive. All right. Let me interrupt this program. This is funny. This is in the King's Chamber. This was funny.
Oh, he's got to respect the place, Carl. Okay. Okay. Alright. Yep. Bye-bye. Yep. After you. Okay.
Did you not like my rock dance?
He did not. Out, please.
I'm sorry, guys. My rock dance got kicked out. Please. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going, dude. Yeah, we're going. Look at us. We're going.
Yes, he was like, all right, get out. You guys have fucked up. Surrogacy. Man, thanks for hanging out. Sorry if I got to that too late, mate. But cheers. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, that may have been my fault. We'll see. No, go ahead with your frequency nerding conversation. It's fine. Let me continue with where I was. We looked at this one already. I think did we? Yeah, we did.
Isn't it?
Serapeum. Abu Sia. Serapeum.
All right. I did see some low spots.
So I was scanning a lot with the iPad, and it just didn't work out. I tried to really get in with the iPad and do a lot of scanning. These guys had a laser too. There was a laser level.
2 minutes.
You can kind of see how flat it is.
It's pretty damn flat.
Yeah. Well, you can feel it. So it's just feeling it's fucking mental.
Fun detected. Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Look at that. Oh. Not trying to hit your eyes.
This is illegal science.
Do that again. Hell yeah. Crazy. I hear you, buddy. Don't worry.
So for me, it's my second pyramid that I've been kicked out of. If I can get kicked out of the Menkaure pyramid now, that'll be the trifecta, because I got kicked out of the middle pyramid back in 2015, and I dragged that guy up to the police station though. I did go up, and he shit his pants in the end. He was not pleased that I was complaining about what he did.
Let me go around this way.
He kicked us out.
Definitely on the last box with the writing. That's where the liquid is.
There's just some people that like to,
Yeah,
like
it's
I
on
said,
the underside of the
unless
lid.
they want your money, or they just like to will power because they're given power.
Okay.
Actually, you have the same
Is it smoother?
drip system.
Like, so
that
feel
it's-
next
No, you feel texture here, so it's like spillage.
There's something there. Yeah. Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Yeah, aren't they? Massive. What for? Nothing. Well, for not giving him money. We got kicked in 2015. I got kicked out for not giving the guy money. We was in there with like my wife and a couple other friends who were on this tour, and we had some moment to ourselves. We just want to go down there and sit there and appreciate it.
What?
And he literally was insisting that we pay him for a photo. And we didn't even want the photo. We don't want to take any pictures. We just want to like take a look at it. And he just 30 seconds of that, and we were down there for about 30 seconds, and once he figured out we weren't getting any money, he just started clapping his hands really loud, and I go, oh, you go, and then I got really mad. I went out, but then I said, all right, we're going to the police, and he, by the time we got to the top of the shaft, he was basically begging to let me back in and not want to go to the police, and then I went and he probably got demoted back to camel jockey or something, rather than the cushy job of sort of harassing people for money inside the pyramid. Just the guy really ruined it. Like, it's like people come a long way, you know. You can't even give him 30 seconds of peace in there. Like, fuck you. So I dragged him to the general on the side at the time, and made my poor tour guide, it wasn't Yusuf, it was on the Hancock tour, but I made him sit. I wrote out like a whole page of what happened, and he had to write it out in Arabic. And yeah, the guy was pooping his pants pretty hard at that point, because it's like, you mess with the tourists, and if they call your bluff on it, so they'll often say, "Oh, we'll go see the police," and say, "Well, let's go see the police." Like, if ever they harass you for shit, if they think you're serious about taking them to the actual tourist police, they'll fold immediately. Like, they're just it's a confidence game, most of it. And that guy, I would not normally have ever done that, but he really pissed me off for like 30 seconds. Like, that was our first time in that pyramid. We just wanted to like look at it, and he couldn't even give us 30 seconds without like demanding money. And we'll take your photo, like it's okay. I'm like, I don't want the photo. Just leave us alone for a minute. He wouldn't do it. So let's go, son. And collect the whole set, indeed. It does, yeah. I should look at maybe I think the iPad with its wide angle lens probably gives you a little...
Working?
Working.
Okay. Now, we see these figures, many cases, on the surface of the boxes of the Seraphim. And we wonder what caused this to happen. The answer is, in this case, is right here. We see here another patch that is a bit bigger with a crack that surrounds it. You see that?
Yeah.
These exist naturally in the stone, and if it's too fragile, then they will empty
I couldn't see
out
where I was
and
aiming.
smooth it
I
like
should have
that.
aimed a little
So you
lower,
can
yeah.
find this one here. This one isn't done, but we have another one here. See this?
Down
If
bend.
this one is emptied and smoothed, then it will look like this. And
Yeah, I didn't capture it
also
at all.
smaller and bigger ones.
This is this little camera. I was having
this one.
I think my Pocket Osmo is
like this
screwed
one.
now. I think the gimbal's really broken. I finally got it
That
there.
is the reason behind the existence of scoops like this one on the surface of the stone.
Epic.
Amazing surface here.
Yeah. You can see fine lines on it too, and just in the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is granite. That's the spots of like quartz that are in it.
Yeah.
The top is always cut from
Is it
the
feldspar or
bottom, never
something?
from the top.
Right.
Just like we saw at the museum.
This is like people
comes from the bottom.
People that think this stuff's geopolymer.
Looks like the same slab.
You literally have veins of
it's
other
like
material in it. It's obviously not geopolymer.
And there is a difference in machining with what we look at here and what we looked at in the museum. The one we looked at in the museum is looking more like what we're going to see inside the pyramid.
Okay.
Because it
Kate,
was
I know
one
some
cut
people
with the
suggest
saw.
that. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to form the sedimentary bedrock, but
The pyramid one.
I think it's millions of years, you know. I don't think this was above ground. It's carved from the bedrock. Like, it's not... If it was just above ground and it had... There's no construction in the tunnels aren't, like, made of blocks. It's literally carved from the bedrock. So if it was above ground and it had sedimentary, like, say the sediment formed around it, there wouldn't be a tunnel system. You'd just have these blocks that are buried in the ground. So there's like the tunnels themselves aren't shaped from blocks or anything. They're literally just carved out of bedrock.
Is more advanced, I believe, than these ones.
Okay.
The real challenge that I see here is how did they manage to bring the boxes inside?
Here.
Yeah. But we saw in the unfinished ones how it used to be rough and then they smoothed it with a finer tip and then finer tip. And we can still see this.
And Fred's
in
standing
many
up on
pieces.
like something there.
Like we can still see the chisel marks in many cases when we go on lower level.
Oh, I don't think they were using torches. I honestly don't. I think
No,
that's
it's finished because there was a
no
floor.
chance. There's so much to this. Like,
here.
I think this place is. You can't use primitive technology to explain it. There has to have been something else going on here. At this point, I'm like refuse to accept the mainstream explanation for it. It just doesn't make any sense.
So they will lock it to the ground or to the floor, and then they will
Yeah, so you guess you could say I have difficulty accepting that as well. In fact, I get to the point now where I just don't.
Well, this block here may have been like the original.
It's a bogus explanation.
Yeah,
And Jimmy, you know, in his latest video, which is kind of like a, I liked Jimmy's latest video. It's like a very much a, it's a great introduction into the topic of this. A lot of like the depth that I go to. Like he does a good job of appealing to a much broader audience with pointing out a lot of the precision and the joinery and all that sort of stuff. And he made a good point that even in our times, the only experiments that we've done trying to recreate any of this stuff with primitive methods, we've literally just done little cuts. Like Dennis Stocks with his, they cut for a few days and they made this much progress into a granite block with a drag saw using sand and water. Like that's, and they stopped there. They tried to recreate a part of the Sphinx's nose at one point using primitive copper tools and stuff, and they lit copper into limestone, like hard limestone, not granite. And literally these copper and bronze tools lasted maybe a dozen strokes and they were all bent and fucked up. And then they resorted to using like power tools and stuff. So we haven't ever even replicated one block. We've never actually done one single block. So it's like that's as far as the experiments have gone. And yeah, there's no soot exactly. So it's like we just haven't tested any of those mainstream theories. We accept them, or that they're considered as fact because those are the tools that we've found. It's like the circular logic, right? It must have been done with these tools because these are the tools that we have found, even though it's like there's literally evidence that other tools were used is right there. It's in the object themselves. It's in the result of the tools, but it just gets dismissed because it's just like we didn't find those tools. The only tools we found are these tools, so therefore all the work must have been done with these tools. But the evidence for other tools is right here. Like that's literally, you're staring at it. Like,
Can you hold my tablet under my arm? Thanks.
And look at the inside of this thing. It's just perfect. Like it's, I like that actually.
Watch the light.
It's just bullshit. Like,
Exactly. That's why we were saying 15% of the boxes has an inscription, and 85. So why do I debate that 15% has against like?
do you have any idea what experiment could be set up to even begin understanding this from our technological frame of reference? Oh, well, I think the only way that we can do this stuff is with our tool, like making, we've never made anything like this, but we'd have to use our, you know, you've got to look at how we would do it. That's about it. I mean, from within our frame of reference, otherwise you got to start searching for other answers like stone softening and anti-grav, all these other methods like the ultrasonic drilling and other methods of processing the stone that make it lots easier. Like, and that would require experimentation and science, and I think a much more in-depth and sophisticated study of these objects themselves, like microscopic study and with getting the experts looking at the specific striations and tool marks, because even on some of this stuff you can see very fine markings. I think you've got to put together the best hypothesis you can based on the different stages of rock that we see. So we see some boxes in more finished states than others in this site, and try to account for every element within that, and then follow those chains of evidence and follow each of those states of the stone as far as you can, and just don't leave anything, like don't rule out anything unless you can actually rule it out through experiment, like end result type of work. I think we've never ever done that. I think it's all just been assumptions, you know. So I don't know. That's the way that I think it could be gone about doing this, but it would require, you know, money and time and machinery and sophisticated tools, I think, to get a lot of that stuff done. There's geometric studies we should be doing on them too, scanning them properly with the real 3D scan, like they did, like Patrice Poyard did for the Barabar Cave, stuff like that. Like, look at the similarity between the boxes, like make a study of the internal spaces, like how accurate really are they? Get that down to the micron level and actually defined, and then compare them with each other, and then try and extrapolate from there and understand how, you know, you might be able to get to a point like thinking about why, like what was it for, what does this, You know, how does this shape interact with all sorts of different types of energy that you can throw at it, or whatever the hell. I think there's no end of studies that we could be doing if we had the money and we had open minds to do it, but we just don't. We're just like, it was wooden sleds and copper chisels and pounding stones in a lot of time, because that's what we found. And it's all associated with the dynastic Egyptians, so therefore that's all it is, and case closed. But it's, you know, I think there's a tremendous amount of work we could be doing on this stuff. Yeah, couldn't get a 7-meter circular saw down in those tunnels though. That's true. And in fact, when you look at the unfinished boxes, you are seeing hammer marks. Like a lot of them, you're seeing like chisel marks. You know, the unfinished box that's in the hallway and the lid of it, like those are hammer marks. Like Yusuf thinks these were hammered out. Like, and then something was brought along. Where you do see the polishing, you do see the finishing marks. There's very fine striations like on the finishing. So it's almost as if, imagine like a jackhammer. Did you guys see? Let me dig up this older video. There's an interesting mark on one of the boxes. And I don't know if you guys noticed it when you're in there. I think it's 3. No, that's not what I'm looking for. This one here, maybe. Yeah, maybe around here. Yeah. So in this back corner here, right down the bottom here on the left. Wait till I think I pan down here, probably. Yeah, right here. So, see this? Like, this to me is like, okay, so there was something else happening here. Like, the finishing tool, it's almost like they had a jackhammer or power tool that was able to like, this to me looks like a real abrasive. See the lines? It's like for whatever reason, they just knocked this corner off it. And I think that they're the type of severely, like, that type of tools may have been used. When you're looking at chisel marks and individual things, it's almost like they were just like pneumatically type of tool, like a jackhammer almost was used to roughly shape these boxes. Because you see that unfinished box that's in the hallway. Shit, where is it? 33. I think it's right here. This thing. So this is like chisel marks, and see these fucking squares. Someone's done something. These are on everything. These weird little squares, like this thing here. Like they're on all the boxes. But see, this is like roughly chiseled. And then something else came in and did there's like that the finishing state that gets it to like the flat state, but not polished though. Like there's a finishing and a grinding that gets it down to this like not finished state, and that grinding phase is where you see very fine lines, like the underside of lids. There's very fine lines. It's almost as if they had some sort of buffer thing that was used to get that flat, and then there's polishing where you've got it to that mirror finish, and you can't see any marks. But a jackhammer could have been used recently. I don't think so. No, not down here. I mean, not when. I mean, this hasn't been changed since what's his face Mariette discovered it. Same thing with the Giza marks. Like some of them are weathered. Like people think, oh, someone came up with the saw and cut the basalt with it. It's bullshit. It's been weathered. They're not jackhammering on these things. You'd see it too. Like the color that you'd notice like recent work on this stuff. It's not recent. So I don't know what was powering it. Like I don't speculate. I can't go down those lanes of speculation, but. To me, it's like I kind of agree with Yusuf. He doesn't think these boxes were cut. They weren't sawn into their original pieces. They were scooped up out of the quarry, and they were these original blocks, and then they were roughly dressed into shape. I think the internal boxes were probably removed with tube drills, like the internal spaces originally, and then something else was used to basically smooth them down, get them to that almost finished flat state, and then something else was used to polish it. And we have evidence of all these steps. So this is this box that's in the hallway, its lid is rough. And if you get to this box that's in the back section here, where is it? In here, I think. This big black thing, here it is. So this cracked, so they threw this one away. But this is like my favorite box. We didn't get to see it on the trip, unfortunately, but this is in that back section that's not lit. But this thing, because it developed a big crack, they never polished it. They never quite finished it. It's got this huge crack in it. And I think it just wasn't functional. But it's a gigantic lid on this thing. And And it's very smooth and very flat, like the underside of the lid. And it's worked down to a fine finish. Oh, fucking, why are you so chunky? Stop it. What's it doing? Fucking cut it out. Jesus Christ. It's like it's... Stop buffering. Fuck's sake. Like we have the computer technology to make this play smoothly. I don't know why it doesn't. It's also had that square, like something's been tested. Like someone came in and did some testing to these boxes with this square. I don't know what it is though. But it's almost like you can see like soft, like hammer marks on, dressing marks on some of this too, but not sawn. I don't think. But they didn't quite finish it because it developed this crack, so they parked it in this back corner. And some of it's extremely flat. So this was one phase, and then you got the kind of the finishing flatness phase, and then the polishing. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense out of it. So the undersides of the lids, for example, and then let's see. I want to get to the.
David Jenkins subscribed to the channel.
Thanks for the sub, David. Cheers. So it's like the underside of the lid, and then there's this polishing, right? So smooth. No, so shiny, right? There's these two finishing states, like very smooth, but then the polishing. Anyway, so I think there's multiple phases. That's what I mean by these multiple phases of construction that happen down there. And we could investigate along those lines and try and extrapolate out as far as you can. So those squares were removed nubs, maybe. I don't know. Interesting idea. That last box had its nubs on it though. Well, the nubs were on this part of the box in a lot of cases. Sometimes they're on the lid too. It's almost like some modern testing was done, or something like that. Nub, nub, nub. Okay. Yeah, it's a mystery, but it frustrates me that we can't sort of get together to like do the experiments that I think maybe get a little further towards the truth, right? It seems like they're available. Okay. All right. I think we're going to wrap it there. What's the time? 5 o'clock? Yes. Let's go back to this for now. Been fun, guys. Oh, I may play games. Not yet, I don't think. Not yet, I don't think. But I might do that a bit later. I'm going to take a little break and get up, and we'll see. And I'm not sure how much interest people have in watching me play games, but if you do, we can do it later on. Let me know. But yeah, you guys, thanks for hanging out for a couple of hours. It was fun. We got more to come. I will be streaming again later on. Thanks for hanging out, Russ. Check out Russ on Twitch too. He does stream as well. I watched some of his stream earlier. It's entertaining. Pretty cool shit. So yeah, we'll once I get a handle on more. I'm working on this video, and once I get a handle on a bit more of this footage, we can do something a bit more targeted on these streams, maybe. I was just trying to do some review of some of the things that were top of mind for me. So, Kate, thanks. You would have to find a TikTok star from Egypt and ask them to get permission for study. Yeah, well, I think it's just you can game later. Yeah, right. Liquid applied to the outside. Yeah, I think there's evidence for liquid polishing. And Cass, man, thank you so much for all the support, and thank you for that. Very kind. So, without any further ado, I'm going to take off. You guys have fun. I'll be back on, what do I say, Sunday? So it's today, Friday. So yeah, Sunday. I'll stream again Sunday for sure. If I end up playing games and doing something else for a while, I'll probably pop back on in the meantime. But otherwise, I'll be working, trying to get this video out, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Take her easy. See you around. Thanks, Robert. Take it easy, guys. Have the fun.
And you've been to Giza?
No, I've never been to Giza.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Don't worry, Ann Cass, I'll be back, man.